with Ballard for just a minute, taking Quentin Nelson as a generational talent, but let's dig a little deeper. How about Eric Ebron? I mean, Eric Ebron, to me, has been as valuable on this team as Andrew Luck has been. I'm not saying that Jacoby Brissett could have orchestrated this. I'm not saying this at all, but let me just give you a little something here. If you add Eric Ebron to Jacoby Brissett and this offensive line, man, oh man, are you in business? Even with I think if you get over the 1-5 start, look, Andrew Luck may be a most valuable player, and Andrew Luck's a great player. But I'm telling you what, Eric Ebron, pretty damn good. And let's go through another guy. Let's talk real quick about another guy. How about the guy Inman? How about that guy? Has that guy been any good? I mean, you bring this guy because you knew him back in San Diego, or people knew him, or whatever the hell it is. People understood. I don't know. Next thing you know, this dude's catching touchdown passes. This dude seemed to have acclimated himself incredibly well into the entire culture of the Colts. And you're bringing this guy off a scrap heap? Ebron and Inman, think about, we've talked about weapons, right? You got to get weapons. Deion Kane was supposed to be a weapon. Deion Kane went out early. I don't know if you remember that name. But he was a kid from Clemson. He was supposed to be the guy. He was supposed to be here early. He was supposed to, and he gets hurt, and he's out for the season, never plays. That Fontaine kid never really gets it going. So you go to the scrap heap a little bit. You stick with Chester Rogers. But, man, holy cow, Dontrell Inman, in the biggest game of the year, goes 5 catches for 76 yards and a touchdown. And I have no idea about this. I know the locker room is different. And, you know, I was listening, and I can only stomach a little bit of Holder earlier, but he was like, everybody's fascinated by a leadership council. Every football team has a leadership council. And whatever happened with that leadership council, I felt like Big Joe maybe said it earlier. Big Joe talking about T.Y. Hilton being a different player. And it's not necessarily T.Y. Hilton as a player. He still falls down. He gets open. He's a great hand. But seems to not be, number one, a distraction, and number two, almost the other side, being a leader by how he's playing with an injury. And let's talk about that. Now, that's got to be a little bit of Ballard. That's got to be a little bit of Reich. And let me dispel something for you. The whole idea that Josh McDaniels should be hated. Let me tell you what Josh McDaniels did. Josh McDaniels may end up being a great coach somewhere and probably would have been a great coach here. Let me tell you why. You got an offensive and a defensive coordinator here that are great. I mean, I'm going to say the defensive coordinator is great, Eberflus. I think he's great. Now, maybe Reich helps out on the offensive side, but who hired them? Josh McDaniels. So before everybody, and I know it's a narrative in the city, and I get all that stuff. He's bad, blah, blah, blah. And Ballard thought enough of him to hire him. And if Ballard thinks enough of him to hire him, then I'm in on Josh McDaniels, period. Now, I know we're supposed to hate him, and I know it's easy, and I know all that stuff. But if you think about what Josh McDaniels did, if you just look at him from this standpoint, that guy hired 2 really good coordinators. And how good is Jimmy Irsay and Ballard by keeping those 2 guys? What they have to do, they had to recognize. They had to recognize that those 2 were really good. I mean, Ballard's footprint is all over this, and he should be the executive of the year. Like, I don't know when guys vote. And ever since 2000, I've been curious about when guys vote. We were picked like 8th in the MAC, won our last 6 games, won the MAC outright, and I wasn't the coach of the year. And one of my coaches said, they vote like 3 weeks ago. I'm like, oh, all right. Well, I always wonder when they vote, because if they vote today, you've got to think about executive of the year and coach of the year, one being, of course, our guy, Frank Reich, is coach of the year, and the other, I mean, look what he's done here in Ballard. Look what Ballard has done. I mean, honest to God, Glowinski. Nobody ever heard of Glowinski. When you see a guy coming to your team named Glowinski, and he's a big fat lineman, you just assume he's a big fat lineman. Hey, who's that? Well, that's Glowinski. What does he do? He's a big fat lineman, right? Yeah, he's a big fat lineman. Well, Glowinski, and I know they had some penalties yesterday, but who cares? I mean, Glowinski and those guys have been great. How about Braden Smith? Let me go to Frank Reich now. How about Braden Smith and the coaching staff being smart enough to understand it? Okay, this guy's a little bit stuck because Glowinski's a little bit better than we thought. So let's use his athletic ability, his size, his length, and let's put him at right tackle. And guess what that did? Well, all that did was solve a problem. Frank Reich going for it on 4th down. are going for it for the tie. Like, guys are saying, well, had he not gone for it and they got the tie, they'd have a home game. Yeah, you don't know that. I mean, you don't even begin to know that. Locker room would have been 1,000 times different. But I'm done arguing with people. If they don't understand it, there's nothing I can tell you. And as Ballard said, guys that have never been in the locker room will never understand it. They'll never understand it. So that's all fine. I got no problem with it. But the truth of the matter is, you got to go to Reich and say, man, has there ever been a time where you thought this year, now just think about this, where you thought, number one, Reich was stupid and number two, Reich was conservative? I'm sure there was, but I don't remember it. Has there ever been a time? Has there ever been a time where you say, man, that was really dumb? And the only time would possibly be, and I'm not even saying it is because I don't think it is, but it would possibly be when he went for it on fourth down or when he went for it in overtime. That was the only time where you could put it up. But he's always been aggressive. That's who he is. That's who he said he was going to be, and he proved it in that moment. And in that moment, guess what they did? He won his locker room. Now, they lost 2 straight games. They weren't ready to win yet. But I'm telling you right now. Yeah, Dan Ross, the head swim coach at Purdue, says, hey, without the Jacksonville misstep or loss, we'd have won the division. Laid an egg. Tyler says, hey, Mr. Irsay and Ballard retained the coordinators hired by McDaniels just shows pride wasn't going to get in the way of winning. That's exactly right. And that feels like what this team is about, Tyler. It feels like Reich doesn't even want any credit. Reich just wants to coach a little ball. It feels like Ballard doesn't want any credit. He just wants to coach a little ball. We'll get into all of the talk radio stuff today, which job is the best. There's 8 vacancies. Everybody's getting fired, blah, 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 blah. We'll get into all that nonsense. But I want to talk about the Colts all day long because the Colts gave me great pleasure last night. And if you would like to talk about it, join us at 317-239-1070. I'm also on YouTube right now. Go to youtube.com, search 1070 The Fan. You can join us on Facebook. Dan at 1070 The Fan is the email address. 317-239-1070. I just want to talk about this all day. We are going to talk. Steve Alford got fired. A lot of Indiana fans, I don't understand. You are happy about it. I don't get it. A lot of Indiana fans are coming at me saying, see, he shouldn't have been the Indiana coach. I don't get that either. I mean, it's not like you're sitting there at Indiana with 2 national champions on the coach you hired. I mean, just stop all that. One doesn't beget the other even a little bit, but I get it. It's a media thing, and the media around here likes to come at me, and I like to come at them, so I'm cool with it, whatever you want to do with that. Colts are in the playoffs. That's all I give a rat's ass about because Saturday night, guess what we have, people? Last night, guess what we had, people? We had appointment TV, people. Yes, we did. We had appointment television in the house. We did. And I love every minute of it. I do. I love it. I don't like it. I love it. And we're going to have appointment TV coming up here on Saturday. And I can't wait. What do you got, Casey? Welcome to the show. What up, Casey? All right. Goodbye, Casey. I mean, turn your radio down and we'll figure it out. It's very simple. Hey, Dan, Jeff AA. We always go to Jeff AA. Colts are so fun right now. Unpredictable, fast-paced offense, speed all over the defense, and well-coached. Jeff, that's the thing. They are so well-coached. You don't feel, and Rick Venturi is going to join us at 1. We're switching things around a little bit. So Venturi at 1, Fish at 12:30, show ends at 2:30, Pacers pregame at 2:30, then the Pacers-Hawks. But I'm telling you, it is amazing to me. Honest to God, Matt, I don't think we thought there was a dumb move by there hasn't been a dumb move, nor a conservative move. There has not been a conservative move by Wright, and I love it. He is exactly who he said he was going to be. He is. He is who he said he was going to be, and that is so important in the locker room. And again, as Ballard said, these guys have never been in a locker room. They'll never understand it. But that's all right. You got to be in a locker. I mean, I know you guys hate that, and I know you don't like it, but it's so true. It's like, you go to the doctor, and you're sitting in the waiting room, and you look around, and you see, and then you go talk to the doctor. You don't know what the hell's going on in that doctor's office. You just know you're at the doctor. Tracy, what do you got?
Hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call.
My pleasure.
I just think we're going to go as far as our tight ends are going to go. I love the way Eron played.
Yeah.
And I know the way he's playing this year. But, gosh, sometimes I still think, is he going to catch it or not?
Sure, and then he catches it, and then you're happy.
Yeah, and as long as he's pulling in those tough catches, I think we can go all the way without being a homer here.
Well, I think that's a bit homerish, but I like it. Let's be homers today. You know what I mean? Why are we even worried? You know what I mean? Like, Jay, look, you ran off, I don't know, 9 out of 10, and if you're not going to be a homer now, you know what I'm saying?
When are you going to be?
Right.
I absolutely
Today's
know.
Homer Day.
Homer, can I make one other comment?
Please.
Speaking of a homer, it is New Year's Eve, and I'm driving downtown to Chili Waters to fill up a couple growlers to celebrate tonight.
That's what I'm talking about.
Happy New Year, brother.
Chili Waters. I heard that place is really good.
It's the first time I'm going.
I heard it's really good. I appreciate your phone call. Yeah, I'm a little under the weather today. I think Lee's going to have to – if you guys want to go on a date with Lee, we'll raffle it off. But I'm not feeling good. I'm feeling like dog crap, basically. Tom, it's Homer Day today. Don't even preface today by saying I don't want to be a homer. Yes, we do. Hell yes, we do.
Dan, I'm a homer today, big time.
Yeah, absolutely. Today is Homer Day on the Dan Dockett Show.
Dan, I two things. One, this feels different.
Yes.
This feels different. And you know why it feels different? It seems different because you got an offensive line that's killing people. You got a defensive line that's stuffing the run. We can run and we can stop the run. I've never been able to say that in the 35 years the Colts have been in Indianapolis, even through the great years. It's different. We're physical. But here's the foundation of the whole thing, I think, Dan. You talked about Coach Reich. For lack of a better word, there is an integrity about this team from Frank Reich. These guys talk about it all the time about playing for each other. They're doing that. There's an integrity
all right,
there.
let me go to what I think you mean by integrity. What I think you mean by integrity is there's no Bolshevik here. We're not trying to cater to media. We're not trying to cover. We're not trying to explain. We're just doing what we do, and you're seeing the results. That's how I view your word integrity.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And Frank Reich said the words perfectly when he went in the locker room last night and in his press conference, and he said the best thing you can do is when you walk in your locker room and you accomplish what they did last night, and you look at each other in the eyes and say, we did it.
Yeah.
And they did do it. And they're led by a kid with no ego, who's a little bit of a nerd, in Andrew Luck. I love his the way he treats. He's the best teammate in the world. He may not be the best quarterback. He's always one of the best, but he's a great teammate. They got a bunch of great teammates. This team is so easy to root for. And you know what?
I agree.
Have you made this correlation? There's some similarities with the way the Pacers.
Oh, there's no doubt. We've talked about that. Absolutely. I'll give you two of them. I got to let you go, Tom, but thank you.
Yeah.
I'll give you two of the similarities. Number one, you just said it, very easy team to root for. Very good guys. Very easy. Like very, very easy. Like when you watch the Colts and you don't root for the Colts, that's on you, in my opinion. I mean, everybody should, they're just good. The Pacers are the same way. But let me go a little deeper into that. I believe this. I think the Colts team really fits. Like, I look at the players on the team. You need weapons, so you go get tight ends. Mo Alley Cox had a hell of a catch, and more importantly, had a couple really good blocks. You go get leadership. You go get guys inside that are team guys. And guess what? Next thing you know, man, you got a team that wins and is likable. You got a team that wins and is likable on the other side of town. You got two teams that are essentially the same, and quite frankly, you got two coaches that really don't bring attention to themselves. You got two coaches that are, man, like, whether you like Nate McMillan, whatever you want to do, it's hard not to like him given what he's done. I was watching Nate McMillan. I was comparing him to the guy Fizdale, that take this for data guy, and he wasn't even close. One guy looked like he had no idea what the hell he was doing. He was just out there to be a show, and the other guy was coaching. And I look at Frank Reich, and I look at everybody else, and, well, you know what I see in Frank Reich? I just see a guy that wants to be a coach. There's a maturity to it. There's a no Bolshevik. Look, Chuck Pagano's a great guy. We all know that. But when Chuck Pagano went to a press conference, you felt like he had to take a shower. It was all crap. I'm going to go to some calls here real quick. Usually don't do it in the first segment, but I want to get guys in here. Jerry, we're going to go from top to bottom. Kyle. Jerry, then Tim, then Carl, Randy, Mike. What do you got, Jerry? Got to go quick, though.
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I had called you after the draft last year and asked about how much of it was coaching because we've been drafting offensive linemen, and I was saying that, Coach Pagano was rah-rah, and how much of us, our talent, did we have talent, and how much of would the coaching help? And you said that it was the question of the year, and we wouldn't know to the end of the season. So I wanted to call back and say coaching has a lot to do with it.
It matters. It matters. It
matter
matters.
who they play.
I agree. You know what? Appreciate the phone call. It matters so much in the NFL. I think you're seeing it. I don't think you ever feel like right now there's – I said this earlier in the show, and I'll keep saying it. You haven't seen anything really dumb. The media can say you shouldn't have gone for it. That's a coaching decision. I don't think that was dumb. You never seen anything conservative, and we never seen any excuses. Tim, how are you?
Doing well, Dan. Long-time listener,
Thank you.
first-time caller.
Thanks.
Hey, I know it's Colts Day, and we should celebrate that win. But on Christmas Eve, you had the lovely Lee Ross in.
Yeah.
And it was a throwaway segment, maybe. I don't know. Maybe you were tired of talking about sports and Pacers, or Colts and Pacers. But one of her Christmas recommendations was the DNA kit, 23andMe.
Yeah.
I did that last year. And this year, because of people like you throwing that out there, I was able to reconnect with my adoptive parents from 50 years ago.
No kidding.
So on a throwaway segment, dude, you're changing people's lives, Dan, and you don't give yourself enough credit for it.
Well, I appreciate that. It really wasn't a throwaway segment because I figured that people, need help. Like guys need help, right?
Yeah.
But wow, that is such a great story. Keep that. We're going to keep that call. I want to send that call to Lee if you don't mind, because that's how she rolls. She loves when this show helps people. And thank you for calling in, and thank you for that. Very much appreciated, Tim. Thank you.
No problem. Thanks, Dan.
You're welcome. Carl, how are you? Welcome to the show.
I'm doing very well, Dan. How's about you?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I'm glad to talk with you. I got a couple things real quick. I think when Ballard said the rivalry was back on, that got the fan base kind of like, oh, hey, we've got something here. And then you had the going for it on that fourth down. And then we also had they also had the team meeting a couple weeks back that Jacoby Brissett apparently called.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, Jacoby Brissett, he's just the backup quarterback.
Yeah.
I did a little research. I didn't realize he had a Super Bowl ring, so he's got automatic street cred.
Yeah, and you know what the great thing about that was, Carl, in my opinion? Think about this. Think about you're the backup quarterback. You started last year. You got to do all the cool stuff that a starter does, right? In terms of how you feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now he's not. Now he knows he's not. Like Andrew Luck threw 3 interceptions, ain't coming out. And yet he's so invested, Carl, that he's a guy that is professional football player right there. You know what I mean?
And I saw some video of him jumping up and down.
Yes.
When they do the celebration pictures.
Yes.
He's in that too.
Yes. See how cool that speaks. I got to run here. I got to take a break, but I appreciate you. That speaks to that dude's character, man. And again, let's think about it. I go back to Ballard, understanding who to put in this locker room. Like, you guys, let me give you the anti that. Do you remember a few years ago when I was bitching, whining, and moaning? Pacers were doing pretty good. Then all of a sudden they brought in Andrew Bynum. And truth of the matter is, when they brought in Andrew Bynum, from that moment on, you have not seen Roy Hibbert in the NBA. He hadn't done nothing in the NBA since that. See, Larry Bird didn't understand that. Larry Bird didn't get that. He didn't get his own locker room. I think Ballard really gets his own locker room. And I think Pritchard really gets his own locker room, and you got to be very careful who you put in that locker room. You got to be very careful who walks into that locker room. I'm sorry, but you do. And you know what? I don't think anybody understands it better than the two guys we have running our programs. I mean, there are people that understand it, don't get me wrong. But there aren't very many that understand it better than what I've seen out of Ballard and what I've seen out of Pritchard. Those two guys have a real understanding of this, and I think it's fantastic. And we get to reap the benefits of it, right? Like the Pacers tonight. Hey, they're going to play at 3 o'clock. My fat ass is going to be out of here at 2:30. So if you want to call in today. It's Homer Day on the show. But I'm going to be watching the Pacers because I'm excited to watch the Pacers. I want to watch the Pacers. And there's a lot of football on. There's a lot of stuff to be done, all that stuff. But I want to watch the Pacers, and we reap the benefits of Ballard. We reap the benefits of Pritchard, and that's awesome. All right, we're going to come back. We're going to talk to Fish. IU's been on a few days off. We'll see what Fish has to say, how his holiday was. But this is Homer Day. We're also going to have the great Rick Venturi on, and we're going to talk to Rick about what he saw out of the Colts. Rick was on fire yesterday. Like, I had a bunch of guys at my house watching the game, and boom, my phone was buzzing with Rick Venturi, and I like it. We'll be back.
It's showtime in South Bend. It's a matchup that starts the blood and takes.
And here come the Irish. Let's take this outside. On January 5th, Big Ten rivals collide in the first college hockey game to ever be held in Notre Dame Stadium. That's right, your Fighting Irish take on Michigan. Presented by Meyer. Face-off is at 3:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now and start at just $20 for this must-see event in the house that Rockne built. Michigan, Notre Dame, January 5th at Notre Dame Stadium. Purchase tickets at und.com/buy tickets or call 833-ND-IRISH.
Hey, there you go, drivehublerchevy.com. You can't get this anywhere else. 10 years, 200,000-mile warranty. That's right. You can drive that car forever and know that you are covered. That's peace of mind, people, and you can only get it at Hubler Chevrolet. Go to drivehublerchevy.com or go into any of the 5 Hubler stores. That's actually more fun.
If you do well and you perform well, you'll be rewarded. I mean, simple as that.
Louise from Noblesville, a Geico customer service supervisor, says Geico rewards its associates based on performance, not years of service.
If you stick it out and you come to work every day willing to learn and willing to get better each and every day, you'll do really well.
Think you know Geico? Get to know us for great careers in customer service. Apply online at geico.jobs/Indy. Geico. Careers unexpected.
Dan Doggage for Body Sculpt RX. You've heard me and Kyle talking about it. Thanks to our health transformation program guided by the lovely Maria at Body Sculpt RX, we've been feeling amazing. I have. And as a registered nurse, Maria has been with us every step of the way. And the program's been easier, much easier than anticipated. I got more energy. I'm sleeping better digestion. And the best part, Kyle and I dropped over 40 combined pounds and double digits in inches. Body Sculpt RX is now open. Telling you, it's a great spot. Guys, this is for you. This is for you guys. Don't think this is only for your wife, your girlfriend, your fiance. No. This is for men as well. Check them out. BodySculptRx.com.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth.
Hi, I'm Kara.
And we're with A Comfortable Climate. From our family to yours, we wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
We hope you have a happy and successful 2019. Enjoy time with family and friends this holiday season, and if you need us, we are here. Call 317-257-HEAT.
Or visit us online at comfyclimate.com.
A Comfortable Climate is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
America's favorite auto show is back. The Indy Auto Show, going on now. Buy your tickets now at IndyAutoShow.com.
And with admission just $7 and kids under 12 free with paid adult, the Indy Auto Show is great, affordable family fun.
Find the new vehicles you've been thinking about. Compare them to others all in one place at the Indy Auto Show, downtown at the Convention Center.
Going on this week.
Over 400,000 square feet filled with hundreds of cars,
trucks,
SUVs,
hybrids,
and more.
And with admission just $7
and kids under 12 free with paid adult. It's a great time.
Going on this week at the Convention Center for the Indy Auto Show.
Brought to you by the Indianapolis Auto Trade Association. It's America's favorite, the new car show, the Indy Auto Show.
Going on this week at the Convention Center.
Don't miss the fun at the Indy Auto Show. Going on now.
It's fun for the whole family.
Buy your tickets now at IndyAutoShow.com.
Dan Doggage here. Thanks to KeyBank, the official banking home of the Indiana Pacers, we can keep making financial progress here and, of course, keep growing basketball here. KeyBank, use the red key, and remember, KeyBank is a member of the FDIC.
The Pacers enter the holiday season capable of beating any team in the league.
The Pacers are going to win this one.
Battling through injuries hasn't stopped them, and their confidence is only growing. Now the blue and gold enter the crucial part of the season where they can have great success chasing down the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Next up, it's the final game of 2018 against Atlanta. Today at 2:30 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Your home for Pacers basketball.
It's Monday. It's 12:30. It's Fish. The voice of the Hoosiers. Don Fisher joining the Dan Dockett Show.
Man, what a world. A lot of stuff going on. Today is Homer Day. Fish on? Nope. We'll get Fish in a minute. Prayers to our friend, my friend Devin Underwood, his 4-year-old son Ari, in his battle. Listen to this. Neuroblastoma cancer is getting tougher. He's currently back in Riley Hospital for children being treated for pneumonia. Listen to this. This morning, his blood work came back. He's now battling MRSA. Jeez. Man, let's take a quick call while we wait for Fish, if you don't mind. Let's go to Randy real quick. Hey, Randy.
Hey, Dan. How's it going?
Good, buddy.
Hey, I'm just heading home back to Indy from the game last night. I was down in Nashville, and somebody said earlier that this team just feels different.
Yeah.
I've been a season ticket holder for 17 years, and I tell you what, being at that game last night, I would say that was actually more fun than the AFC Championship.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Just being in their house, taking that game, and there was never a doubt. I said going into that game, if we held Derrick Henry under 100 yards, we'd win it, and everybody laughed at me.
Well, I'll tell you this.
Just seeing him in the pregame, I was one of the first ones in the stadium. Seeing him in the pregame, they were fired up and ready to go. It was amazing.
Well, I appreciate it. Drive carefully back, please. Thanks for the phone call. Hey, Don Fisher joins us. Hi, Fish.
Hi, Doc. How are you?
Fish, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all that good stuff.
Yes.
Are the Hoosiers ever playing basketball again?
I don't think so.
No, they're done. They're done.
It's amazing. I mean, to have this long of a layoff, it's incredible. But I guess from a perspective of getting everybody healthy, that's part of the positive out of it, and a lot of practice time available. So you're working on a lot of different things, fundamentals and those kinds of things. So I think that's all good. I just don't know if it's a great thing not to have a ball game. Maybe leading up to Big Ten play 3 or 4 days ahead of that. So you never know how these things are going to work out.
Fish, I'm just telling you, if we'd have had, 13 days or something like that? If we'd have had 13 days with Bob Knight, I would have jumped off Eigenman. I'd have been like, no, anything's better than this. 3 a days, huh?
Here's the other thing Archie did. He gave them 4 days off. So when the 22nd, they could leave on the night of the 22nd after they played Jacksonville, and they didn't have to come back until the night of the 27th. So they actually had some time away from the coach and from the school and all those kinds of things. But I know exactly what you speak.
Oh, Fish. We used to get a few days off, and then you knew I remember beating Illinois State. And, I thought we did pretty good because they were a tournament team. Oh, hell. That's all I got to say. Christmas Day. It was me, Daryl Thomas, and Todd Meyer couldn't get back. We were at my parents' house and drinking whiskey because we knew what was coming, Fish. So,
That's funny.
Oh, man. Hey, a couple of things, Fish. Number one, in terms of health, I'm guessing the Hunter kid's probably done for the year. It feels that way. Is Thompson kind of the guy to come back?
If Thompson can come back, I'm sure that they will try to get him in there, but it's going to have to be really soon. And my gut is, Doc, he's not going to be back soon.
Really?
That's my gut. Because this concussion protocol he's been under and the severity of the concussion that he suffered has been an ongoing thing, and he's still not practicing, so I just can't see it. Now, once he starts practicing, if he can get back into basketball shape in a couple of weeks' time, then maybe it'll happen. But my gut is that's a real question mark. And here's the thing, Doc. I don't know if they say, well, look, we're not going to burn this whole year, or we're going to burn the year based on the fact that he already spent a year out. He needs to get back in and playing again. So I don't know how they think about that, and I haven't talked to anybody about that in that regard. But if he can't play this year, then they apply for a medical red shirt, and he's still got 4 years of eligibility, and I think he'd get the medical red shirt because of the severity of the concussion.
But he was here last year.
He was.
I don't get it all. I'm not smart enough to get it all. He was there last year, but he can redshirt this year and still have 4 years. He's going to be a 29-year-old senior if he stays, which I'm cool with. Right?
No, well, I think what, and the reason I'm saying this, and trust me, Doc, I'm no expert on any of this stuff. But when I look at it, he sat out last year, basically his redshirt season. But you can, if you have a medical issue, you can apply for a red shirt based on the medical side of it, and you can get a 6th year. So that's, like I say, I don't know if that's the plan. I just know that that's a possibility because you can get a 6th year with the medical red shirt.
Yeah, I mean, I know you can't. Yeah, and okay, all right, I'm with you. All right, Fish. Now, when you look at the Colts, what do you see in Fish? This is Homer Day here. We want everybody to be a homer on the Colts.
Well, I'm a big-time homer on the Colts because I mean, I don't know. I guess this is one of 2 teams that has ever come back from a 1-5 start to make playoffs. Just absolutely incredible what Frank Reich and that coaching staff have done. And I would give Chris Ballard a tremendous amount of credit as well because he had to go through the draft. He got quality players out of that draft. He got key pieces that just fit perfectly. The offensive line needed to be addressed. He addressed that. He got defensive players that may not be the marquee guys you've ever heard of, but all these guys bought into whatever Eberflus was trying to do from his perspective. And I just think this has been a remarkable football season for the Colts. I am so proud of those guys for how hard they've worked and how they hung in there despite the horrific start. And I just think this has been a magical season for this football program, and I'm so proud. I'm so happy for Jim Irsay and for the whole organization because they had to persevere at the toughest times and it's really negative stuff that was going on, and they were able to get that done.
Fish, let's talk about that for a second because you've been around teams. Don Fisher, the Hall of Famer, joins us for Winds Lakeside Inn and Marina Hotline. You've been around teams, and we were talking about this, Fish. I was texting with Chris Ballard this morning how important the locker room is. You know what I mean? I mean, you've seen locker rooms, good and bad.
Yep, there's no question. And this is obvious. I haven't been around this locker room at all this year because I didn't do the Colts preseason games. But nevertheless, you can tell there's a camaraderie there. There's obviously some veteran leadership there. I don't think there's any question Andrew Luck's had a real piece of that. I don't doubt that Costanzo and some of these other veterans that are still there and that are not new to the whole scene have had a factor. But I think the new guys have been leaders in the sense of how they bought in to what the prescription that Frank Reich and the coaching staff has tried to get put in there and have these guys bite on, and they've bitten on it. And the buy-in by the younger guys, you can have the best leaders in the world, and if you got some guys that just won't buy in because they think these are old guys, they don't know what they're talking about, you got no chance. But these guys bought into what these older guys and some of the leadership has told them, and I just think it's been a tremendous ride. And I love the camaraderie that I see with this group, and I love how they go out the field when they don't get things done and they start talking about it. There's no negativity. There may be some, but we don't see it or hear it. But at the same time, they figure it out. And to me, that's a mark of a really good football team.
Yeah, everybody doesn't need to see your dirty laundry. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of what I've always said. It's like, people think we all have a right to see everything that happens. Well, it's never. Like, I don't care if it's IU, Purdue, Colts, Pacers. Right. It's never all seashells and balloons. These are men that are, fighting, battling, all that stuff. What the hell?
Yeah, and there are egos involved and all kinds of stuff. And sometimes you've got to set those things aside and just say, hey, I got to look in the mirror here. And I think these guys have all done that. And I just think it's a great credit to the culture that has been set there by Ballard and by Reich. I really do.
I do too, Fish. Well, Happy New Year to you, my friend. What do you got? What's the big plans tonight, Fish?
Well, Doc, I'm going to go to the Pacer game this afternoon with my lovely wife and watch that. Then I think we're going to just go out and find some place to eat. Where that'll be, who knows, because everybody, of course, get reservations. So we'll probably sit at a bar someplace.
Yeah.
And have our dinner, but we'll have a good time with that. We'll come home and watch a little TV, a little bowl action and things like that, and then head to bed. Probably we might see the ball drop, but I doubt it.
Fish, you're a man. Hey, last thing, Fish. I haven't asked this question on my show, but I know the answer is you always want to go to a bowl, okay?
Yep.
But damn, Purdue went to a bowl. I don't know. I mean,
and so did Michigan.
Yeah, so did Michigan, Fish. I don't know, man. I know you want to go to a bowl, and I know you want the experience, and I know you want the practices, but damn, Fish. That's all I got to say about it.
Yeah, there's a perception thing that's a negative, and I think we have felt it already.
Yeah, I think we have. Hey, Happy New Year. Have a great night.
Happy New Year.
Thanks, Fish.
Hey, one more thing.
Yeah.
Can I say one more thing?
Yeah.
They just changed. Mike DeBoer has hung it up as the offensive coordinator at Indiana, and Kane Womack is the new defensive coordinator because Tom Allen has decided to put that in his hands and take a little bit off of his plate. I just think these two moves, and I think Mike DeBoer, I think that guy did a phenomenal job with the offense over the last 2 years under some very difficult circumstances, going through two quarterbacks and a million injuries a year ago, and then this year starting out the season, and a lot of people didn't have very high expectations. And I think the board deserves a lot of credit, even though he took a lot of heat, because people say, he needs to throw the ball down the field more, all those kinds of things. Well, the personnel dictates what you can do. And I think he took advantage of his personnel, and I think he did a great job. I just want to thank him publicly for the job that he did over the last 2 years. And I know he's tired. I talked to him this morning. I just think he's a great guy. I think he's a really great coach. I think he did a tremendous job under the circumstances the last 2 years, and he deserves some credit.
Well said. Thank you, Fish. Really well
see ya.
Thanks, buddy. That's Don Fisher, Four Winds Lakeside Inn and Marina Hotline. Did our guy Josh Brewer hang up? Did he? That's too bad. I was going to go to him real quick. All right, we'll come back. It's Homer Day. Give us a call at 317-239-1070. Then at 1 o'clock, Rick Venturi is going to join us, tell us all the good stuff that happened yesterday. We're switching Rick. John doesn't have a show today. We've got a show, so we're going to do it. Then the Pacers come on at 2:30, actually, with the pregame show. And so then Rick is going to join John in his normal, or in my normal spot with Rick. That's Wednesday at 12:30. Or excuse me, Wednesday at whatever time John has them. So we're just switching days with Rick. Wanted to get his reaction to the Colts going to the playoffs, people. 1-5. To God, as happy as you could be, and I know a lot of people went down there, and I know a lot of people enjoyed themselves, and it was raining, but I don't think anybody gave a rat's ass. Hey, join. There's some guys on the line. We'll get to you when we come back.
SportsCenter updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Winter weather's upon us. Important to have your tires and brakes checked at Big O Tires. Have a full safety system check. Be safe with Big O Tires. With the help of our partners, the Indianapolis Neighborhood Housing Partnership continues to educate and prepare future home buyers and improve access to affordable lending options. Beyond that, we're innovating to connect the importance of housing to healthcare, education, transportation, and more. Together, we're able to impact not just a single household, but the many aspects that go into making our city a place we're proud to call home. We invite you to learn more at inhp.org.
Don't miss Beck Toyota's New Year's Day sale. Beck will buy your gas for a year with any new or used vehicle purchase. Beck Toyota's New Year's sale starts this Saturday, December 29th at 9 a.m. and ends Tuesday, January 1st. Combine the gas for a year with huge discounts, great Toyota rebates, low APR specials, and awesome leases. Beck has a great selection with over 500 vehicles available. Don't miss Beck Toyota's New Year's sale. Go places with your new Toyota from Beck Toyota.
My house has a new glow. I love my windows. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey, it's JMV right now. For every window you buy, you get the next one free. No limits and 0% financing for 36 months. Call 317-547-2600 or go to universalwindowsdirect.com. Like me, you'll be saying, I love my windows.
I love my windows. They've got that brand new home effect. Universal Windows Direct.
Hey there, it's Dan Dockage. I'm a diehard Pacer fan, and when it comes to choosing a bank, I chose Key Bank, the official banking home of the Indiana Pacers. They've always got their eye on the financial ball to make sure I'm making progress every play. Key Bank, use the red key. Key Bank is member FDIC.
The New Year's Eve celebration starts early with your Indiana Pacers and the Atlanta Hawks. Get your tickets at pacers.com/tickets. Pacers, Hawks, Monday at 3.
Butler hosts the Georgetown Hoyas. Wednesday evening at 6:30 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Dan Dakich, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Butler got the living hell beat out of him. Anyway, it is Pacer Homer Day. We're going right to the phones. Mike, what's up? How are you? Thanks for the call. Mike.
How about that win last night?
Yeah.
Wasn't pretty, but we got her done.
Yeah.
I called you after the Jacksonville game, and I absolutely went off on Frank Reich about his bravado. But, hey, nothing matters when you make the playoffs, right?
I think that Frank Reich, it would be very difficult to put anything other than positives on Frank Reich for the entire year.
Oh, absolutely love him. And the Ebron signing by Ballard.
Oof.
I mean, hey, you're from the region. I'm from Fort Wayne. Once you go Nap, you never go back. This is a great town. It's a great sports town. I cannot be more fired up today than I am right now.
Right. Hey, look, not only, it's weird, right? I mean, football is so week to week, and there's such civic pride in it that you get in the playoffs, but you do it with guys that you just like. I don't know about you, Mike, but let me ask you. I like watching them. I like watching these guys. I like what these guys are about. You know what I mean?
Well, this team's all about overcoming whatever they have to overcome. And it's amazing. I'm a 17-year season ticket holder, Dan.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the Manning years. We used to just sit around in the regular season waiting to make the playoffs.
Right.
This team earned the playoffs.
Right.
And I don't know what you got down in Houston, but I got the Colts going down there.
Oh, I do too.
Whooping them.
I do too. I got them, beating them. I appreciate it. We're going to get into that during the week. In fact, we'll get into a little bit with Rick Venturi coming up here. Thank you. Shane, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
Good.
I hate to be a buzzkill. This has nothing to do with what the Colts done. They're doing great. I'm a Madden fan. That's the only football game that you have if you're a video game player. Madden in Week 17 has us ranked 77. They had the Titans 81. They have the Steelers 85. At 9 out of 10 wins, I think you would adjust the roster.
Appreciate the phone call. I don't know what the hell that's about. I think it's about a video game, and I'm not going to lie to you. When you say I'm a Madden fan, I remember him as a coach. I'm older, a broadcaster. I get it, though. Who's on that? Is that Josh? Where you been, Coach Brewer? Where the hell have you been?
I've been working, and I'm glad I'm following a guy about Madden instead of following Fish. And before Venturi, I was concerned, but I can follow the Madden guy and have a little sense. But I'm out in L.A. and you start talking about Coach Alford, and all of a sudden my phone goes dead. So I don't know if they knew we were IU guys, and they just
they cut you off. Yeah, they cut you off out there. They don't want to hear it. They're happy and good for them, and I'm happy for Steve. There you go.
Yeah, well, you talk about it all the time. You might think it's the worst day of his life, but it's one of the greatest days of his life.
You damn right it is.
Us Hoosier guys will stick together.
Yes,
I'll root like hell for him wherever he's at.
What you got?
No, just took your advice. My wife met me in Vegas yesterday for the Colts game. It was fun as can be. We had about 20 of us in I shouldn't say a sports book being a coach, but damn it, we were in a sports book having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
The Colts. So, you talk about things in life, and it was, after the win, it was well worth the quick flight out there, and I'm just driving to.
Hey, let me ask you a question. I got to ask you a question. You're in Vegas on a football Sunday, last game of the year. Now, let me ask you about that. What's that like?
I go out there like 2 or 3 times a year on football weekends. It's just fun to be in a sports book because everyone is screaming about something happening.
Yeah.
Yesterday, the morning games were really boring. They really not much happened, but the afternoon games, it was packed, people standing and going crazy. And I happened to be next to a Baltimore fan, next to 4 Pittsburgh fans, so just watching them interact was just like being at the game because one's dying with agony as the Browns try to score while the Steeler fans are sitting there rooting like heck for Manziel to score. But it was it's a fun thing. If no one's ever done it, go out there, fly out on a Friday, spend Saturday, Sunday, and fly back. It's one of the neatest experiences if you're a diehard sports fan. It's almost more fun than being at the game.
Yeah.
Because there's fans from everywhere there.
You know what? You said something that I have said, Josh Brewer, the golf coach out of Georgia, a friend of ours, a Hoosier, calling from L.A., traffic, I assume. Hey, you said something that I always say, Josh, and that is Johnny Manziel led the Browns. I say that all the freaking time when obviously it's Baker Mayfield, but I swear to God, Josh, I can't say Baker Mayfield without having to stop and go, okay, it's Baker Mayfield. I always say Johnny Manziel.
I don't know how I said that, but
right.
I did. So
right.
That's because I listen to you too much, and some of the things you do creep into my conversations.
Don't let it happen. Hey, I appreciate you, my friend. Thanks for calling.
Hey, no problem. Hey, Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you in 2019.
Same to you. Travel safely. That's our friend Josh Brewer. Was a golf coach down at IU, and now he's at Georgia. Alford fired at UCLA, so they cut his phone off. Good for Steve, man. I sent him a text today. I said, look, I'm sorry, but part of me is like, you know what? God bless you. There's a hell of a life out there without having to deal. Steve's team had no chance. I mean, they had all these highly ranked recruits, and as I always said, who ranks the rankers? But this is a Homer Colts day, people, with the Pacers coming up 2:30. Pacers and Hawks pregame at 2:30. Our Pacers playing at home. And then 6:30, it's the Colts Roundtable Live. All week, we've got great sports. Obviously, bowl games tomorrow here on 1070 The Fan. Right now, Virginia Tech and Cincinnati are going at it. It's 7-7. Pacers again on Friday from Chicago. Colts on Saturday. Pregame huddle starting here at 1:30. That's right, peoples. And a lot of you asked me, where are the Colts at on TV? They're going to be on ESPN. ESPN has one game in the entire in the entire playoff picture, and Tennessee and Indianapolis at Houston is that game. So there you go. I like the Colts, and we'll talk to Rick Venturi coming up, but we got to get some stuff in. Josh, I want to talk Marlon Mack. You do too. What you got?
Hey, I just want to say I think everybody was having low expectations for Marlon Mack, but I seen something there last year when he got his touches, and he's living and exceeding those expectations.
He is. He's been – you know what he's been, Josh? You know what I like about – he doesn't seem like a big guy to me, but, God, is he a tough running guy.
He reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew a little bit.
Yeah.
The way he hits the hole and the way he finds where he needs to get to and finds those tough yards that no one wants to give him a chance.
All right, let me ask you this while we're talking about Mack real quick. Are we done with Le'Veon Bell talk?
I'm personally done with that, and I hope everybody else is just smart enough to be done with it because Mack's proven himself.
I agree.
But also, good call on that double-digit win. You called it, and they did it.
Yeah, my guys, a true story. My bosses at ESPN were hitting me up, because they were having some bets, and I said, look, the only thing that worries me is the backdoor frickin' cover on the number 5. You know what I'm saying? And when they got the ball back, there was a chance for that damn backdoor cover. But you know what? The Maniac got an interception, and life was good. Appreciate you, Josh. Thanks, Sean. How are you?
Hey, Coach. Doing great, man. Having a great morning.
Yeah.
Hey, loving it. Hey, listen. Not trying to get ahead of ourselves here, thinking about next year, though. Let's say the Colts get in the AFC Championship, play a competitive game. They're right there, which could easily happen or more. But is there any danger in not staying with the process and being patient and everybody talking Le'Veon Bell and let's get this receiver and let's spend money and get in a hurry like they did a few years ago?
That's a good question. You know what's interesting to me, and this is what I would say about that. Look, regardless of anybody's feelings, good or bad, about the whole Grigson and Pagano regime, it didn't work. And one of the reasons it didn't work was because of what you just said. And I think that as we sit here right now it's early and if you remember, first 3 years of Grigson Pagano were pretty damn good. But I will say this, I'm going to trust Ballard. I think that Ballard is a guy that has shown by who he has brought in and who he hasn't brought in, if you want to know the truth. I mean, he hasn't gone nuts on this, Sean, when he could have, and he's had money to do it, and there was a lot of criticism about him not spending the money. I'm going to trust him. If he brings in Bell, then fine. If he doesn't, then fine. But I think Sean, that is absolutely something to watch as we move forward. Appreciate you. And a little bit appreciate your call. And let's be totally honest as well. A lot of it depends on injury. Vic Ballard, remember that name? Vic Ballard was pretty damn good, and then Vic Ballard kept getting hurt, and next thing you know, you're running back short. Now, as you sit here, Himes pretty good, and they've used Himes in a different sort of way, which is awesome. They said they were when they drafted him. And let me just finish up with this before we go to Rick Venturi. Said they were when they drafted him, and they did what they said they were going to do is a absolute theme running through the Colts. And I go back to this. When Frank Reich was hired, he made a big deal about being aggressive. The first real opportunity for Frank Reich to put his job on the line, his ass on the line, more than his job. He wasn't going to get fired. But he put his ass on the line, was going for it on 4th down in overtime against the Houston Texans here at home. It didn't work. It didn't work. But everybody in that locker room, even though they lost 2 games after that, everybody in that locker room knew that this guy was real. And I cannot explain to you, I cannot begin to explain to you how important that is when you start a job. All right, we'll come back. We're going to come back with the great, the legend, the man, Rick Venturi. He's going to explain to us all the good stuff that happened. Remember, we're only going to 2:30. I'm going phone calls from 2 to 2:30, so get ready. Let's go.
Think you know Colts football?
57 yards.
But do you really know what's happening? It's not just football season. It's Venturi season.
This is Rick Venturi. I'll be breaking down the Colts play all season long on The Fan, presented by the District Tap, located on 82nd Street, just east of Keystone Crossing. 60 beers on tap and damn good food.
Catch the Coach with JMV Mondays, Wednesdays with Dan Takich, and Grady and Big Joe on Fridays. Presented each week by the District Tap.
This is Beth Rovazzini with B&W Plumbing and Heating. On behalf of our staff and our families, we want to wish everyone a warm holiday greeting. And if your house is not warm and toasty, our professionals in the Big Black Trucks can make you warm and cozy in no time. Find us online at BigBlackTrucks.com. That's BigBlackTrucks.com. You can schedule online at BigBlackTrucks.com. And to all, a happy and successful 2019.
B&W's been taking care of Central Indiana families since 1961. B&W is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hello, I'm Joe Cordell of the domestic litigation firm Cordell & Cordell. Here are a few quick divorce tips that we provide our clients. Number 1, don't move out of your house just because your wife tells you to. Remember, that's your house too. And number 2, don't blow through the financial statements that you file with the court. These are key exhibits and they often make or break your case. And number 3, watch the social networking. Expect your wife's lawyer to do a thorough online search. And incidentally, this is a two-way street. Now, a bonus tip. Partner with your attorney in assembling evidence. You're one of the 2 leading experts on your life and marriage. Your attorney needs your input to achieve your goals. And finally, talk to your attorney before taking action. Good luck.
Contact Cordell & Cordell to schedule an appointment with one of our firm's Indianapolis area attorneys, a partner men can count on. Visit online at CordellCordell.com. Office in downtown Indianapolis, 101 West Ohio Street, Suite 1100, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46204.
Hey, it's Dan Dockett here. I want you to start the new year off right with 2020 Vision from 2020 Institute. I've been telling you for a year now about my life-changing LASIK experience with 2020 Institute. Safe, painless, and it worked. 2020 Institute, local company, highly experienced local surgeon, Dr. Zay. This is one New Year's resolution you can keep, and it will change your life. I swear to God, it changed mine. I can see. I mean, I don't need a book. I don't need cheaters to read books. I don't see starbursts. Visit 2020 Indy now to book your complimentary consultation. That's 2020indy.com.
I do nothing about insurance. Absolutely nothing.
A former bartender and banker, Ryan from Noblesville never expected to find a career at Geico.
My goal was just to get through this job and see what I can find next or better. But what I found was that if I did well at this job, I could have a career with Geico. The training's great. It's hands-on. You have coaches, you have supervisors, you have trainers.
Apply online at geico.jobs/Indy. Geico. Careers unexpected.
Wow. Dan Doggett here for Body Sculpt RX. Look, my friend Maria was with us the entire time. My friend Maria is a nurse. My friend Maria owns Body Sculpt RX, and this thing was so easy. I lost, along with Kyle Knezovich, over 40 pounds between us and double digits in inches. In fact, I had to take my suits in to get them redone. I lost so many pounds, and I did it so easy thanks to our health transformation program is what it's called. Better digestion, better sleep. And you know what? I have more energy. And I love it. I do. I absolutely love it. It's not just for women. Get that out of your mind. Check them out at Body Sculpt RX. That's BODYSCULPTRX.com.
What does building a better bank look like? It starts with building Capital One cafes, warm, inviting places that feel nothing like a typical bank, where you can open an account with no fees or minimums in 5 minutes. And you'll always find people ready to help you, not sell you. Welcome to Banking Reimagined. What's in your wallet?
For consumers only. Offered by Capital One and a member FDIC. Cafes available in select locations. Copyright 2018 Capital One.
Turn to the experts at Howald Heating and Carrier for all your heating needs. Howald Heating, Air, and Plumbing, where coming home never felt so good. Online at howaldheatingandair.com.
This is Indy Sports Center.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2,
W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis.
It's the morning after featuring Jeff Saturday. Everything you need to know about the Colts game the day before. Only on FM 107.5 at 1070 The Fan. From coach to coach, Rick Venturi joins Dan Dakich on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Coach Venturi, I have deemed this Homer Day. Like, if you're not going to be a homer today, what the hell, man? You know what I mean?
Like, oh, absolutely.
Right?
I mean, listen, this is a historic Monday. You go 9-1 in this league. That is just absolutely amazing. As everybody knows, we become only the third team that's ever done that after the 1-5 starts. And I don't think that the national people get it. I think they're starting to get it. This is a real good Colts football team. I mean, this is a real good football team. I've been saying it for quite a while here. I've been saying it since the first Tennessee game, because I thought at that point our defense went from a containing, hard-playing, good defense to a defense that could make the difference. Throw that in with an offense that we know can. We have two really good kickers. I mean, we got a long field goal when we needed it. Sanchez had another great punt when we needed it, dropping them inside the 5. We have very few liabilities at this point. And, once you get in the dance here, you can clean the slate. It's a run for the roses now. And it really doesn't matter who or where anymore. What really matters now is who's the healthiest and who's the hottest. And we're pretty healthy, especially if we get Kelly back in there. Hopefully we can keep Hilton going. I know they're kind of keeping him together with baling wire. But, we may be the healthiest and the hottest going in.
Coach, you got to give respect. I mean, you're a longtime football coach. You've seen guys come and go. You've seen guys play, not play. But a word about T.Y. Hilton. A year ago, articles about his lack of leadership, really his lack of give a rat's ass, if you want to know the truth. But let's talk about this for just a second. The difference that he has, I don't know, probably made for himself and his career, no?
I don't think there's any doubt about it. I don't think anybody has gained respect. Now, I never have been a derater of him like a lot of people. I've always felt that there were times that he disappeared in games because people took him away. And I think he kind of was overly criticized at times. What he looks to me like now, though, he stepped up and he's been, he has become a leader in there. Not a lot of that playing around, that immaturity that he had for a while. And he's really playing hard, and he's getting in there, and he's really playing tough. I also think that, he has really benefited now from an offensive system and an offensive coaching staff that really knows how to use people. I mean, in this year, he has been in more places, in more spots. They have created more matchups for him, kept the double coverage off him, and I think that's a credit to Frank and Sirianni as well. But I think you have to have nothing but respect for T.Y., especially the last couple of weeks when he's hurt and when he can hardly practice and he's going out there playing in games. And he's so important to us, Dan. I mean, there ain't any question about it. When we get here against the Texans, he's the Texan killer. I mean, they have never, and I've been critical of them, they have never figured out a way, to take him away. I've always been surprised. I come out of every game and I shake my head. How did you do that? Jonathan Joseph has always just played well against other teams. He's always rated in the top 15 in the league, and yet he's never been able to post up against T.Y. I just think when T.Y. is there, he makes everything else better. I think basically, you're always sitting there on defense worrying about him. If you strip it from inside out or you strip it from top down, you give Ebron the better matchup now. You get the running game going a little bit better. I just think that he, in some ways, is so important to us because I think a lot of it pivots around how people play him.
All right. Let me jump backwards just a second from players to coaches. I said this earlier, and I'm curious your thought on it, Coach. Rick Venturi, nice enough to join us, presented by District Tap. 60 beers on tap, which I may go try every one after this show because I'm not feeling great. And then, damn good food. Coach, let me go this route with you. Frank Reich, I think, personally, you can argue he should have gone for it, shouldn't have gone for it, whatever you want to do. But he's, number one, been who he said he was going to be. He was going to be aggressive. Number two, he's been very daring. And number three, there really isn't a time where you can say, man, these guys are dumb. And he's improved. Their staff has made players better. Would you agree with that assessment?
Oh, I don't think there's any question about it. I think you see the development everywhere on this team. You see it on offense. You see it on defense. I think the first thing that Frank brought in is presence and honesty and credibility with the players. I think he walks to the front of the room, and it was there from day one. He also, and this is something that I looked for, and I was so happy that we ended up getting it. And it's not only come to my expectations, it's come beyond. But, that I think that I don't know that anybody has done a better job in this league this year utilizing his assets, his, protecting his liabilities, attacking others' liabilities, play in, play out, game in, game out. I think there was a time around here where we always doubted whether or not that we would be the best coached team on the field. I don't think we doubt that now, and I also think that's one of the big reasons that we have a chance to make noise here, because I think we're well coached. Now, we're coached differently on both sides of the ball. There's a difference in how we do it, but in both cases we're very effective. And I think the other thing that you bring up there, that you mentioned in passing, and you and I have always wondered about that, and we've always worried, and we've always said, who gets better?
Right.
But this team, if you look at it player for player on both sides of the ball, it's hard to find anybody that isn't getting better. I mean, honestly, I don't think that I have ever, and I'm going to say this, I've never enjoyed watching offensive line play like I have this year. It's almost unbelievable that I look forward to watching the various schemes we use, to watch those guys run. And I thought our two rookies, and of course they're high draft picks, but, I thought 56, and he's played really good all year, but I thought he was tremendous yesterday. I mean, he has improved, believe it or not, even though he came multi-talented. But he has learned to keep that weight down all the time. He used to lunge a little bit when he first got here because he, was able in college just to get by with strength. But if you watch that platform yesterday, I mean, he was down. He was on it. He was getting to the second level. When he pulls, he's so athletic. And the guy that just played, I thought, really good was Smith on the right side. There's a play I want everybody to look at. On that, on that quick screen to Hilton that he goes about 35.
Yep.
Just hit him. Watch Smitty on that play. Smitty is throwing a block. It's 20 yards downfield. I mean, that big dude is running and throwing down there. So, I mean, those two rookies just alone, the improvement has been overwhelming. Another guy that we don't talk about a lot, and I think you can appreciate, Ali Cox has really improved. I mean, he is now the starting tight end. He's not quite the physical guy that Doyle is, but he is outstanding. He's getting better every week. He's positioning people with that big body. Now they've expanded his role. At one time it was just kind of get on people on the edge. This week he ran inside whams on the nose. He ran inside whams on the tackle. And there's the guy that has really literally no football background. And, you expect that because of the basketball background that the receiving part of it would come to him pretty fast because we're talking about spatial stuff that relates to basketball. But when you're talking about blocking on the edge on defensive ends and coming back in and tackles, now that's a brave new world. And so you see guys like that. Let's just look at the difference. Look at the difference in Mac from 17 to 18. I mean, Mac came in here with talent out of South Florida. I mean, he was a kid that, could
I
really
remember you loved him.
I loved him.
Yeah,
I loved him from day one. When Chris took him on the 4th round, I thought, and it's proven to be a terrific pick. But, when he got here, he was a bounce and go guy. He was, it was kind of he was like that home run hitter that we watch in baseball. He either hit the home run or he whiffed. He got a 4-yard loss or 25-yard gain. And what this staff has gotten him to do, I give Rathman credit on this, is that kid is so much different north and south. I mean, he's hammering it now. I mean, he gets that ball north and south. The other thing, he's not perfect, but he had another really good blitz pickup yesterday. I mean, and these are things that you look for on the improvement areas. Our two kids, Hines and Wilkins, contribute. Those kids are rookies. Even some of those receivers that we kind of got in there late, like Pasco and Inman, are they're kind of part of it. They even get a kid, the guy from Cincinnati, Hewitt. They actually get him to do some blocking in there. So I don't think there's any question about it. And then when you go on the defensive side of the ball, you see so much improvement from week 1 to now to so forth and so on that it's even hard to mask. I mean, Kenny Moore just keeps changing games. I mean, nobody ever talks about it.
Man, is he good.
All he ever does, I mean, he has single-handedly, I won't say won the game, but he has single-handedly saved 2 games because yesterday's funny. When I watch the tape, it's even more evident. It's a game that we totally dominated, but in another way, we let them off the hook. We dominated a game and yet made it interesting. That was the funny. And when it was 24-17, it almost felt like they had a little bit of not really momentum. You're not going to have momentum when Blaine Gabbard's your quarterback, but they felt like, they're making a couple first downs here. They just got a 2-play touchdown, and it's 24-17, and then he gift wraps it, but there's Kenny again. Kenny makes the big play against Jacksonville, or we go down that day in the 4th quarter, that strip that he makes. So, I mean, guys like that. You see Quincy coming along. I thought Hooker yesterday had the first front-up tackle in that first series when he comes up and he puts it on somebody that I've seen since I've been here. So, there's no question about how those guys are getting better and better and better. And that's why I just think, we right now are a tough out because you look at us, we can score a ton of points. I mean, we were surgical, and then, we had a lull. Andrew made maybe the silliest play of his career. And then we give up 3 before the half, and they get that 2-play scoring drive. It's a freak show. We have those fumble punts, this, that. The second quarter and into the third quarter is like a doggone freak show, but we find a way to come back and, get 400 and some yards. And at the end of the day, we have the ball for 40 minutes, and our defense just doesn't give up a lot of touchdowns. It just doesn't give up a lot of touchdowns. Yesterday, old Blaine and company, they were 1 for 10 on 3rd and 4th down. So I mean, so you're stopping them, you're holding on to the ball, and like I said, in some respects, the tape, we totally dominate the tape. It's really amazing. It shouldn't have even been 24-7 or 17. It shouldn't have been.
When you looked at Blake Bortles coming in, last week I think you said, he can do some things in the pocket, blah, 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 blah. But when you were texting me last night, you could just tell like this wasn't going to happen for Blake Bortles.
No, it wasn't going to happen. You know, you go back and he is what he is. You know, he's the guy that is. You know, we have been fortunate, in my holy trinity of quarterbacks this year is Derek Anderson, Cody Kessler, and now the guy that's the head of the triangle will be Blake Bortles.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no doubt about it, and we have been fortunate. I mean, we have only played one quarterback in the top 15 QBR in the last 10 weeks. So, you know, now that's fixing to change here going forward. You're gonna see nothing but guys that can play right there. But he just, you know, he's a guy that has one more touchdown than he has interception. This guy has 47 career interceptions, 72% lifetime quarterback rating, and a 55% completion average. So, you know, like you said, you never felt like you were going to lose that game last night. You felt like that you were making it interesting, but that you would eventually get in control of it like we did get in control of it. You know, and I talked all week to you. They can talk about Henry. They can talk about that running game. It is not going to happen with us. They dented us for a couple. You know, they dented us. But at the end of the day, you get 93 yards. You know, all that stuff about he carries it 15 times, they win. Well, yesterday he carried it 6 times, they didn't win, because you're just not going to win that way. You have to be quarterback driven to win at a high level. There's just no way. There's no other way around it. And so, you know, we're in good shape there. You know, and now we go to Texas. It's a little bit different. You know, now I think we still match up very good against the Texans, but I will say this is that the Texans, though, have more guys that can affect the game. You know, after Tennessee lost Casey and Ryans, you know, and the quarterback in terms of his legs, you know, they're really pretty. But the Texans have some guys that can make a difference, and that quarterback is insane sometimes. He's just insane. I can't believe it.
Well, let's talk about this because I know you've watched. Rick Venturi joins us. Difference between the first Colts-Texans game and the second Colts-Texans game?
Well, you know, first of all, we were a lot better in the second one in several areas. I think the biggest area that we were better in is that we did a really good job on Hopkins. Okay,
yep.
When you look at the Texans, Dan, on offense, they've got a good running game. There's no question about it. Now the quarterback adds a lot to it. The statistic is a little bit distorted because the quarterback adds 550 yards to the total offense. So that's and it just seemed like last week, like they said, hey, we're gonna win this game and win this division, and the hell with it. I mean, they ran him on. It looked like a college game. I'm almost shocked at how many design runs he ran last week, to be honest with you. But you know where you really have to stop. The two things you really have to stop. We will stop the running game. I say that every week, and we do stop it because our system is set up to stop that running game on first down, and our guys penetrate up in there. You know, like I said, they dented us a couple times. If you're going to run against us, you're better off tossing it and get to the edge, because if you think you're going to run inside there, it's not going to happen. But the two guys that are just dynamic football players, that are ambient football players, are Hopkins and Deshaun Watson. And those are the guys that you have to keep under control. You know, Hopkins can go off at any time. You have to have nuance. We did a good job. We didn't do a good job in the first game against him at all. Second game, we did a really good job. I think he got 34 yards, and that was critical in winning. I mean, when he doesn't have a really good day, they usually don't play very well. And then I think you have to do a great job, and we did at times, and we didn't at times. And it's very difficult because Watson is absolutely crazy with the ball. I mean, he is a kid that has, you know, he's a little bit Mike Vick. He's a little bit Russell Wilson. And a guy that the more I watch him, and I know some fans are too young to even know, but he's like a black Fran Tarkenton, man. I'm telling you, this guy can get out of trouble. He can get outside, inside. Almost, I mean, escape artist like I've never seen. But the good thing about him from their standpoint is when he does get out, he never gets out of control. He is always looking to beat you downfield. And so it's really important. If you remember the last touchdown where they pull close, kind of says it all. That last touchdown where they pull close in the second game, to me, says it all. Do not do not let him on the edge. Okay, if you let him on the edge, you're flirting with disaster, because now what happens is he's out there and you have to hold the coverage. And the one time, if you remember, that they got Hopkins loose is when he got in there in that fourth quarter and he got on that edge and he started stretching it, and we didn't what I call plaster on Hopkins, and he threw that touchdown pass to get him within one score. And so, I think that those are critical elements. I think the biggest thing, if I look at what teams have done to us successfully over the year, which we know one another real well, there's no secrets going into this one. We have to do it. Here's what I think we have to really improve on this week going into Texas defensively. We have to get a lot better on bootleg passing. Okay, this is, we struggle. We even struggle with it if Gabbert isn't so inaccurate. He hits 2 or 3, and it looks a little bit different. You saw Eli Manning really take us to school on those bootleg passes 2 weeks ago. This is what this kid specializes in. You could put bootleg pass, and you could put it in Google and put his picture in there, to be honest with you. So we have to do a really good job both in the containment of him and in the coverage, those flats, those tight ends coming across. That's got to be number one. Number 2 is play action. He does a really good job of faking the run. He really fakes it up in there. And, you've seen those tight ends. Even Pruitt got one in behind us last week. Those kinds of things. And then I think the biggest thing is you have to have a blitz and a rush plan. In other words, when you're rushing normally and when you're blitzing, you have to have a plan that, to me, contains and compresses him in the pocket. He may scramble inside, and usually when he does, he runs there. Usually when he scrambles inside, he takes off and goes. That's one issue. But what I don't like, Dan, is when he gets to the edge. If you remember, I was saying that to you all the time. I don't like him on the edge, because then what happens is your coverage gets distorted, and you can only hold it so long. So, you got to have a really good rush plan. Now, on the other side of it, and this is what I said about Tennessee last week, I say it more so about these guys, is these guys cannot play from disadvantage, although Watson would be different. Watson is different. You can never relax on him like a Gabbert. But their offensive line is horrific if they really have to protect the passer in the drop-back game. If it isn't, they are 32nd in the league, okay, in sacks, 32nd, 3.9 sacks a game with the most elusive quarterback in the league. So you figure that one out. I mean, you can get after him. There isn't any question about it. But you just have to be smart. You don't want to ever take away the aggressiveness, but you have to have a lot of discipline against this guy.
All right, we come back. We're going to continue to talk with the great Rick Venturi, presented by the District Tap on the Four Winds Lakeside Inn and Marina Hotline. It is a Colts homer day, people. We are celebrating the Colts 9 out of 10, third team ever to overcome a 1-5 start to get into the playoffs. What the hell? If we're not going to be homers today, when are we going to be? Rick Venturi back with us when we come back.
Hi, this is James Shockey at A Comfortable Climate. From our family to yours, wishing you a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. We hope you have a successful 2019 and enjoy time with your family and friends this holiday season. If you need us, we're here. Call us at 317-257-HEAT.
That's A Comfortable Climate, 317-257-HEAT or comfyclimate.com. A Comfortable Climate is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Hi, I'm Ryan Kelly. This year, Hero.Loan personally paid over $85,000 worth of appraisals for our service members. That's how we say thank you to the men and women who sacrifice so much for our great nation. With the VA loan program, you can cash out 100% of your home's value to pay off credit cards. Apply today and get your customized loan options with our 5-minute loan approval at Hero.Loan. The Home Loan Expert LLC, NMLS number 1326241.
At the corner of Main and Monon, above Carmel's only high-end steakhouse, sits a bar that's so relaxing and scenic you wish it was just your little secret. The atmosphere is inviting, the environment controlled both inside and out, and the chef-prepared shareables are just as exciting and fresh as the wonderful tasting cocktail that breathes a uniqueness one can only call innovative. Welcome to 3 Up, above Anthony's Chop House, with rooftop views of Carmel, including the growing wall, the perfect selfie spot, easy parking, and weekly entertainment. 3 Up, Main and Monon, Carmel.
Dan Dockage for Body Sculpt RX, now open and ready to help you reclaim your health as the premier med spa serving the north suburbs. Body Sculpt offers safe, effective treatments like cool sculpting, weight solution programs, and medical-grade supplements designed for your unique health needs and your goals, supervised by medical professionals. Come in for a free shape program consultation. If you're a candidate, get $25 off program costs through December. BodySculptRx.com.
I can't get rid of water like I used to. It's embarrassing, but I leak, and I can't get rid of this musty smell. Ew.
If your house could talk.
My foundation was strong, but the stress weighed on me, and I cracked a lot.
I'm literally a walking hazard. I'm not that old. When they told me I needed a lift here and there, well, I never.
No one ever goes down there. Who knew there was mold spreading?
Is your house trying to tell you something? Cracks in the drywall, uneven floors, musty smell. These can be signs of a sinking foundation, crawl space issues, or a leaky basement. Call Indiana Foundation Service for a free inspection at 888-222-0608. That's 888-222-0608. And take advantage of no payments and no interest until 2020. Some restrictions apply.
Now I love the way I look. You can't even tell I had any work done.
Hey, it's JMV for Universal Windows Direct. Looking great from the outside and keeping you warm this time of year on the inside with the Super Spacer technology. And right now, for every window you buy, you get the next one free and 0% financing for 36 months. UniversalWindowsDirect.com. And by the way, if you want to work for a great company, they're hiring window and door installers right now. Top pay, benefits, substantial signing bonus with unlimited year-round work. Want to work for a great company? 317-547-2600 and ask for Stephanie.
I love my job at Geico.
Ryan from Noblesville.
I wasn't planning on staying with Geico for 12 years. Just needed something to pay the bills.
His story is common. With hard work, Ryan turned a job at Geico into a tremendous career. After numerous promotions, he's moved from entry-level to a high-level supervisor in the claims department.
I don't know if any other company would have given me the same opportunity or promoted from within like Geico does.
Apply online at geico.jobs/Indy. Geico. Careers unexpected.
It's showtime in South Bend. It's a matchup that starts the blood and takes.
And here come the Irish. Let's take this outside. On January 5th, Big Ten rivals collide in the first college hockey game to ever be held in Notre Dame Stadium. That's right, your Fighting Irish take on Michigan. Presented by Meyer. Face-off is at 3:30 p.m. Tickets are on sale now and start at just $20 for this must-see event in the house that Rockney built. Michigan, Notre Dame, January 5th at Notre Dame Stadium. Purchase tickets at UND.com/buy tickets or call 833-ND-IRISH.
At the Cheesecake Factory now through December 31st, buy a $25 gift card and get a free slice of cheesecake redeemable in the new year. Visit thecheesecakefactory.com for details.
There's never an excuse for missing anything on The Fan. 1070 The Fan on connected devices and smart speakers. 1070thefan.com. 1070 The Fan app on iTunes and the Google Play Store. For a full list, go to 1070thefan.com/listen. Plus, you can listen to all the shows by subscribing to the podcast. Take us anywhere and everywhere you go. FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Your home for indie sports. From coach to coach, Rick Venturi joins Dan Dockage on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
It's a Colts homer day today. If you can't be a homer today, I don't know what the hell to tell you right now. I think there's 8 coaches out of jobs in the NFL, and we're going to get into that in a minute with the coach. But first, I want to go back to something last night and something you said earlier, Rick, and that is you haven't enjoyed line play like this. Let me go to one specific thing that I don't know if it's overlooked. I don't know if it's not. You've talked about it. I've talked about it, but maybe fans don't recognize it. 1-4 without Costanzo, 9-2 with Costanzo. Him coming back seemed to be a really good thing.
No, there's no doubt about it. That's one of the key turnarounds on offense. And that's not to take anything. You've seen me praise Nelson. Nelson is super. I thought Smitty was great. But this team turned back around when all those guys came back, the critical guys were Hilton and Doyle at the time. Remember, Mack was out also, and then Costanzo. I consider Costanzo, with the exception of our quarterback, one of our 4 most critical guys on the team. Hilton, Ebron, Mack, and Costanzo. If somebody asks me what are my 4, and I'm not saying that necessarily they're the 4 best players. Nelson may be the best player on the team. That's not what I'm saying. But they are in positions that make the difference. That left tackle makes the difference. And, basically when you look at who he plays against week after week, and for the most part, that position, that guy over there has disappeared. We have actually crunched people on the running game to our left behind him and Nelson. Both of them are really athletic, so you can pull either one. You can block down and pull Nelson. You can crack and pull Costanzo, and you can pull both tackles. We run plays that teams don't ever think about pulling tackles, and we pull tackles around in the hole, which tells you a little bit about their athleticism. And I think the point you just made is well taken. I don't think there's any coincidence to that record with our left tackle in the game and without him, because before that, what Frank was doing, and I was giving Frank credit for just surviving, absolutely surviving, and he was still getting about 25 points a game. But we were doing it with quick rhythm because he had the intelligence and the smarts and the adaptation ability to say, we can't hold the protection with the guys we're playing with, so we got to get it out. But once Costanzo came back into the game and that left flank was taken care of, then all of a sudden now we can begin to go more play action, which now stresses you downfield, stresses you in behind. But if you can't hold the protection, none of that really matters. People don't even look at that, and yet it starts with protection. So, I think you're right on your thinking there. I think he had tremendous impact on us coming back. The other thing, we play a hell of a lot better when Mack is in there.
A hell of a lot better.
I mean those other kids are good role players. They really are. I mean, Wilkins comes in, he comes in fresh and gives you some good stuff. I think he's doing a great job of using Hines. I mean, that 4th and 1, he got Hines isolated on Brown outside by formation. It was one-on-one, and you could run 10 of those, and you know how many Brown will stop? 0. Okay?
Right.
That's why it wasn't a daring call on 4th and 1. He knew. He got in that formation and got that line back. We'll do the same thing. If we can get McKinney out of the box, he'll never cover Hines. And I think they're doing a really good job. Hines is kind of a silent killer inside, without tremendous numbers. But him and Ebron, you got Hilton outside, and then Ebron and Hines inside are very, very difficult matches if you're a defensive coordinator.
Coach, let me go to a couple things. Number one, why does that play – you touched on it a little bit earlier, but you know what? You know how it goes in radio. People don't listen the entire segment. Right. But why does that play where Luck steps back, fires the ball to his right, gets the ball to Hilton, and then he runs for 35 yards? That play works. And number one, the play works, and you're getting the ball to playmaker. But number two, I've always thought this, okay, Coach? I've always thought that one of the signs of a well-coached team in modern football, not back in the day football, modern football, is wide receivers being able to block down the field. Shows me that a coaching staff is on it.
Well, you're right, and we have that now, and that's there is an advantage now, to playing with guys like Pascal and Inman who are fighting for their life. They're anything but prima donnas. Plus, when we run a quick screen, the other thing that is really important, and I mentioned it, and I'll re-mention it here, is on that play, our right tackle, Smitty the rookie, he was throwing a block 20 yards downfield. Right. The other thing, now there's 2 ways that those plays happen. That was truly a quick screen, and that was truly a quick screen. And so our offensive line, which is so athletic, I watch these offensive lines like the Texans compared to us. It isn't even close. Tennessee compared to, it's not even close. I mean, we get out there and run. I mean, our guys get out there and run, get in front of stuff, and so we're a very good screen team now, and we're a very good toss-crack team because our line can run. Now, the other thing that Frank does, though, that, happens and you don't notice it as much is some of those bubbles. That one wasn't. That was truly a quick screen. But some of those bubble screens out there are literally RPOs. In other words, they have the run call. You see that on Saturdays all the time. They have the run call. The line is blocking run front side, pass protection backside. That's how they teach it. And then it's up to Andrew, whatever he sees. If he sees numbers light outside, then he can throw that bubble. That's where Rodgers is catching a lot of balls now. If the numbers if the numbers aren't good inside, then he's giving the ball to Max. So you're kind of, it's kind of like old check with me, except you're doing it after the snap, and that's something that we stole from the college game, to be honest with you, and it's really worked. But I think you're right about one thing. Is our receivers and tight ends. None of them are divas. They're all guys that are fighting, and they're going to do whatever it takes to win. So they're going to get out. They're going to block when they have to, and do not discount the athleticism of our offensive line, particularly at tackle. Our two tackles can get out and run like you just don't see that.
Coach, let me go to something else. First game, I thought here against the Texans, I thought Jadeveon Clowney dominated the game.
Yeah,
I mean, he had a bunch of penalties, jumping off sides. He did the same thing in the second game. Colts handled him in the second game. Why?
Well, the thing about it is, I think we did a better job on him on the inside. Remember what I told you in the getting ready for him in that second game? I said basically when Jadeveon Clowney lines up off the ball and starts walking around, we should have a siren go off in the dome there to make sure that he doesn't get us inside. Now, Jadeveon is a good edge rusher, but really where he's devastating is when he's moving around inside. And then third down, they will move him in there. And on early downs, they'll stack him up in there and let him hit that A gap really quick. And so, man, you cannot go to sleep on him. He is – Watt has all the sacks. Watt has 16 sacks, but they're almost all of them now are coming from our right side. They're not moving him around nearly as much as they used to, but he's devastating off that edge. But Clowney is with 9 sacks. But what you don't count with Clowney is all the tackles for losses he gets. I mean, and you're right about that in that first game. In that first game in the overtime, he changed the complexion of the game. Now, he's got a little nuts in him. I mean, he has the big hit, although, that's one of those bang bang plays anymore. I don't know. I mean, he's going in to hit the quarterback, but in a way, he cost him the Philadelphia game with the head to the helmet of Foles. And yet, if you look at the play, it scares you to death because he comes around on that Tex game, and I mean, it looks like, oh man, that looks like a freight train coming out of Chicago there around the side there. So, yeah, you got to handle him and Watt. There isn't any question about that. And I think Frank, what he did a good job in that second game is he had a much better feel for them. And what he did is he mixed basically 3 things there on early downs. He did a lot of quick rhythm, and when he did quick rhythm, he spread them out, and they continue to play off. If I were playing the Colts, I would get up and press every down, every player, and I'd have my free safety leaned on top of Hilton and have the 8th guy in the box and say, okay, guys, you beat me. You play off against us, and you play off against Hilton. You're just asking for it, and they continue to do it. They play that soft quarters or soft thirds back there, and they really, really give it up. So what Frank did in that last game was he did 3 different things early downs. He went quick rhythm from spread sets where he spread them all out, and he worked on them inside. He worked on, McKinney. He worked on those guys inside with Ebron and Hines and all the inside, even Hilton in the slot. Then he went max protection, to make sure that because if you're going to hold the ball at all, you got to get those 2 guys blocked, and don't count on 1-on-1 to do it. So he went max protection. And then he gashed them downfield with different stuff. He got in stacks and bunches because for some reason, they have a terrible time sorting out stacks and bunches. I will show that when I get my videos out later this week. I mean, they just have an inordinate amount of time. And then he nickel and dimed them with the run. He really did. He nickel and dimed them with the run. He banged at them. I think you can get to the edge on these guys, but the thing you got to do, you got to get there quick, or you got to pinch it when you go to the right. And by pinch it, I mean you got to get a double on Watt. You got to make sure that you double him and pound him. And when you can get outside on Clowney because he loves to come inside. But when you do it, you have to toss it and get it out there quick, because if you run anything that takes a little bit of time to get there, he'll swipe underneath you and he'll be up in that backfield so fast your head will swim. So, you got to be able to toss it where you can just pin him and break his rib cage, as he goes in that swim move. I mean, that's what you tell him. You just, every time that guy swims and we're running that toss, you just break that rib cage right there, buddy.
Yeah,
make him pay for it. But and so I mean, everything you do is going to be along that line. You want to run on those corners and safeties. They play a lot of what we call quarters coverage. And where they have trouble, if you go 4 up against quarters, basically that eats up all 4 guys. So if you eat up the safety, let's say you go up and eat a honey badger with your tight end, then that's going to put Joseph one-on-one with Hilton. I mean, so you can do that. The other thing that really hurts them are what we call 4 beaters, which are scissors routes. In other words, you take the Z, you take Hilton down to the post, you take Ebron up, and he runs the corner, and they kind of get a natural rub there. And if you're playing quarters, you have to decide, are we going to zone that off or are we going to lock it off? It's kind of like a pick in basketball. Are we going to zone it? Oh, and I've seen them get screwed up over and over. We turned Reed around from a stack for a big play to Hilton. We got the ball to Ebron on a scissors that way. So, I mean, there's a lot of ways to get after these guys structurally. So, again, I do think we match up, but you got to understand that they have guys that if you don't take care of them, they have, as opposed to Tennessee, they have guys that can ruin the game.
Last segment, I want to go around the league a little bit with you, including the Bears, man. I had a chance to watch the Bears yesterday. I like the Bears, Coach. They remind me of 85. We'll talk about that. I'm telling you, the Bears pretty good. We'll come back with the coach, Rick Venturi, next.
The New Year's Eve celebration starts early with your Indiana Pacers and the Atlanta Hawks. Get your tickets at Pacers.com/tickets. Pacers, Hawks, Monday at 3.
Hey, Dan Doggett, you ever DriveHublerChevy.com? Go to Drive Hubler Chevy. That's right. It's the place to go for 10 years, 200,000-mile warranty. Think about that. 10 years, 200,000-mile warranty. That's unbelievable. That is the kind of, it's actually the kind of customer service. No, not really. The kind of security you like.
How much do you need to save for retirement? Hi, I'm Rick Edelman, founder of Edelman Financial Engines. The question's simple, but the calculation can be complex. How much you need to save for retirement depends on how much income you want, what outside sources you'll have, like Social Security and pensions. And here's the good news. You don't have to guess. We can give you the answer. For more than 32 years, we've shown people just like you how much you need to save for retirement and how to invest it. And now's your chance. Call us for the personal financial advice and investment management services you need with local offices to serve you. At Edelman Financial Engines, we're happy to help you whether you have a little to invest or a lot or anything in between. Come see why thousands of folks just like you rely on Edelman Financial Engines. Call us at 888-PLAN-RIC. That's 888-PLAN-RIC. Or visit us at rickedelman.com. That's ricedelman.com.
It's Andy Moore Toyota in Avon, 5 miles west of 465 on US 36, and it's JMV. You got to eyeball what you want online, AndyMooreToyota.com, and then go out there and see my friend Jeremy Wilson. Talk to Moose, the 2 Chris's, and Andrew about how you can get in the car, truck, or van of your choice. It's the absolute best because of the way that they deal with you. I'm telling you, you'll continue to go back to Indiana's best. It's Andy Moore Toyota in Avon, 5 miles west of 465 on US 36.
Don't miss Beck Toyota's New Year's Day sale. Beck will buy your gas for a year with any new or used vehicle purchase. Beck Toyota's New Year's sale starts this Saturday, December 29th at 9 a.m. and ends Tuesday, January 1st. Combine the gas for a year with huge discounts, great Toyota rebates, low APR specials, and awesome leases. Beck has a great selection with over 500 vehicles available. Don't miss Beck Toyota's New Year's sale. Go places with your new Toyota from Beck Toyota.
Hi, this is
Lloyd,
Jessica,
Robert, and Adam
from Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning in Pittsboro. The Kirby family wishes you the merriest of Christmases and happiest of New Year's. Thanks for your business. We really appreciate it. If you live in Hendricks or surrounding counties and need us, we are always here to help. Kirby services any model, and we proudly install American Standard products. Call us at 317-892-3614.
Kirby is your trusted local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning dealer.
Happy holidays from Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning.
Hey there, it's Stan Dockett. You know Key Bank is the official banking home of the Indiana Pacers, and over there, financial progress is the game plan. No matter if you're ahead or behind, you can always be going for the financial win when you use the red key. Key Bank is member FDIC.
Celebrate the new year with a College Bowl triple header. Tomorrow at 1 on FM 107.5 at 1070 The Fan. From coach to coach, Rick Venturi joins Dan Dockett on FM 107.5 at 1070 The Fan.
All right, Coach Venturi and I have been talking about the Colts podcast to be up as soon as we're done here at 2 o'clock. Remember, the show only goes to 2:30 today. Pacers and Hawks. Pregame starts at 2:30, then the game with Mark and Slick afterwards, and Colts Roundtable live tonight. Coach, two things that I noticed, and I sat on my fat ass and watched a lot of football yesterday. Two things I noticed that I didn't want to notice, if you really want to know the truth. Like I say, nobody will ever compare in my feeble little brain to the 85 Bears defense. It was my favorite team to watch of all time. However, I don't know that they're there, but the Bears defense, really good. That's number one. Number two, I don't ever want to like the Dallas Cowboys. I'm sorry, I just don't. But I like something about this Dallas Cowboy team that I have not liked in a while, Coach. Tell me I'm wrong on both, or tell me I'm right on both, or let's talk first Bears.
Yeah, first Bears. I think, the thing about it is defense really, defense travels well in the playoffs. Yeah. There's no doubt about it, and they're legit. I have a feeling about the 85 Bears. I don't think anybody's ever been like them. I coached against them, and I mean, you felt like you were in a microwave when you played against them. I think this team is good. I can't put it on that level. That team changed the game. They changed the way football was played. And the Bears have enough weapons. The interesting thing is yesterday, in some ways, in a funny way, they picked their poison because they got the Vikings out of there, and now they got to play the Eagles. And that's a little scary to me because, the Eagles are still the world champion, and I mean, they come back and fought their way in, and now in some ways they're on house money. That's going to be a little tough one. Those are the kinds of games that are real tough in the wild card.
Those are the kind of games that are going to be a lot of fun because Foles, I don't know if Foles is an all-day quarterback, but I know this. He's damn good with that Eagles team late in the year.
Here's where Foles is really good. He's just an amazing phenomenon. When Foles comes in because of injuries, well, all of a sudden it's almost as if he doesn't play with any pressure, and he plays great.
Yeah.
Give him the job. I saw it in St. Louis. Give him the job and say you're the guy. It's not the same, Dan. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, and that's exactly where he's scary right now, and those guys have been there, and that front four is really, really good. So, wild card weekend, you got wild card weekend, and then you got Clemson and Alabama. It's like Clemson and Alabama and everybody else in the NCAA.
You can talk about expanding the playoffs. Who the hell are you expanding it to? I mean, honest to God. Right?
That's right. It's those two teams and everybody.
Yeah, it's like you should really shorten the playoffs. Just say, all right, you two, Because let's be honest, Oklahoma fought like crazy, but they weren't going to win that game, and Notre Dame wasn't going to win that game from the time they threw the ball up.
Oh, no.
Right?
I mean, those two programs are just so good. They're so talented, and they're both well coached. They're coached totally differently, but they're both very well coached. But, I mean, all you got to do is look on the first day of the draft to know how good Clemson, Alabama is.
Yeah, every year.
Every year.
Hey, Coach, you mentioned something earlier, and I wanted to get back to it before I let you go here. You mentioned defense travels in the playoffs in the NFL. Let me go through two teams, and you tell me, do they have enough defense? The Rams and the Chiefs.
I have not watched the Rams in detail, so I can't, know. Now, I spent this weekend, because I thought, a lot of things could happen. I spent this weekend watching the Chiefs and the Chargers. They were the two teams I really had not watched. I think the Chiefs have some elements that could make them really good. I don't think that they're great on defense by any stretch, but I will say this: when they get leads and they can turn Ford and Houston loose on the edge. I mean, they are really, really good. I mean, those two guys can rush the passer. They can really get after you. But, I don't think they're great. I mean, I look at the Chargers. The Chargers, who, everybody thinks is really good, and they've given up like 7 sacks in 2 weeks. Their right side can't block anybody. I mean, I come back to the Colts. What are your big liabilities? In the past, we've said, okay, if it really gets down to a game where we have to protect, you probably won't get it done. We'll possibly get out coached in this game, and our defense will not hold up in the fourth quarter, right? I mean, that's kind of, even when we were winning 12 games, we were saying that. And you're not saying that now. You're not. You just feel like that none of that. All of that is fine. Now don't get me wrong. I mean, there's things that. There's things that we have to be very aware of as we get in taller trees, particularly on defense, because we're going to play better offenses and better quarterbacks than we've been playing, and that's kind of critical. And speaking of Kansas City, I didn't. I hadn't watched him. I've watched him kind of like a fan, but that kid at quarterback is a monster.
God, is he good?
Oh my God! Jeez. Oh my God! I mean, I just kept taking plays off and going like, oh my God! Wow! This is unbelievable what he does.
Coach, I don't know. I mean, we make a big deal about him throwing the ball different angles and all that, but what I make a big deal about is him running full speed and firing the ball like 40, 50 yards downfield on a dime.
That's the difference. See, you'll see a lot of guys that are on the move and they throw the ball, and they'll throw the ball, but they're semi under control. You're exactly right about him. He is going 100 miles an hour. He makes a touchdown pass in one of the 2 games I watched. I think it was the San Diego game. And Dan, he is rolling to his left. I mean, he's flat ass outside the pocket. He's not rolling. He's escaping to his left, and he starts to throw. And he literally, it isn't a fake. He's going to throw it at the last minute. He pulls it back. He pulls the trigger and turns his shoulder and throws a bullet right over the middle. I'm like, you didn't just do that. It wasn't like one of those where you fake it and then throw it. He was going to throw it, and he held back and on a dead run, and that's scary. That's a little bit what's scary about Deshaun Watson too. I mean, that Deshaun Watson now is he's a guy that could come in here and he could come in here and we could get all after him. But, man, I'm telling you what, that guy's talented. Woo.
Yeah, and is there a game plan for that? I mean, is it the old thing, keep him in the pocket, squelch the pocket, that kind of thing?
I think there is. I think, and I don't think you want to slow your team down. I mean, I don't think you want to say, okay, we're going to mush rush all day. I don't believe in that. I just think that this is the week that you say my rush has got to be disciplined, and I would be careful on defenses where I brought my end inside. Like Tex games and stuff like that. I mean, if he scrambles up inside, he's going to make some yardage rushing. But the way we play zone, we'll also come up and kill him. We'll make him pay for it. What I worry about and what I don't want to see happen is let him on the edge. The same way with Mahomes. You let those guys on the edge, and bad things happen to you.
Coach,
ironically, we're probably going to see those guys back to back.
I know, right? You go from seeing quarterbacks, let's be honest, can't really play.
No, terrible.
Right? To these guys.
Terrible. I mean, there's one we faced in the last 10 weeks. We faced one guy with a QBR higher than 20. Prescott is like 18, and that's Deshaun Watson. That's it.
Yeah, that's it. And everybody else, quite frankly, in NFL parlance, stinks.
So now, now the rest of the way, man, it's moving forward. But I do think that we do so many things well, and the one thing we really do, and that you have to give Eberflus the credit for it, because he's a believer, and he sold it, and he forced it, is that one of the reasons we don't give up a lot of big plays is we swarm to that football. I mean, we run to that football. So there's not, there isn't very often where there's a lot of separation between players. And when you look at the National Football League, let me tell you this. There aren't guys making a lot of one-on-one tackles. They're making one-on-one tackles when the guy gets constricted, okay, when a guy gets forced to you. There's very few guys making real one-on-one tackles against good players. And that's where this defense, they do a great job of swarming and kind of keeping that ball in the cup.
Coach, I appreciate you, man. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for all the texts last night. It's great stuff, man. Thanks for the time today.
Here we go. We got a little short week, but it is fun, man. It's exhilarating.
Oh, it's the best. It is the absolute best. Appreciate you, boss.
All right, man.
That's the great Rick Venturi on the Four Winds Lakeside Inn & Marina Hotline, brought to you, presented by District Tap. 60 beers on tap and damn good food. I would like to have 60 beers right now. I would. I'm sick as a dog, and the only way to get out of being sick is drink your way out. That's it. And that is it. All right, phone lines. It's a homer day. Let's go, 317-239-1070. I got a half hour because the show ends at 2:30. Then you got Patty Boylan, Mark Slick, Pacers, Hawks coming up. So let's go. We got a half hour on a homer broadcast.
The Ride with JMV.
All right, so this team galvanized when Frank Reich went forward in September against Houston. Was it the locker room conversation they had as a team when they were 1-5? Here's what I say. It's winning. It starts with Buffalo, and it's winning, it's producing, it's success, it's positive results. That's what galvanized this team in 2018.
The Ride with JMV. Weekdays from 3 till 6 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
Honestly, I love Geico.
Jerry from Indy loves Geico's promote from within philosophy. She left hospitality to take a job at Geico Emergency Roadside Service Dispatcher. And now Jerry has a successful career she never expected as a customer service representative.
They pushed me to be better at my job, and since you do have more of an opportunity at Geico and moving up and when making more money, if that's what you want to do, the sky's the limit, really.
Apply online at geico.jobs/Indy. Geico. Careers unexpected.
At the corner of Main and Monon, above Carmel's only high-end steakhouse, sits a bar that's so relaxing and scenic you wish it was just your little secret. The atmosphere is inviting, the environment controlled both inside and out, and the chef-prepared shareables are just as exciting and fresh as the wonderful tasting cocktail that breathes a uniqueness one can only call innovative. Welcome to 3 Up, above Anthony's Chop House, with rooftop views of Carmel, including the growing wall, the perfect selfie spot, easy parking, and weekly entertainment. 3 Up, Main and Monon, Carmel.
Hi, this is Matt Taylor, radio voice of the Indianapolis Colts. We are proud to partner with the Indiana Blood Center to help raise awareness of the importance of blood donation and do our part to help boost the blood supply and give back to our community. Every 2 seconds, someone needs blood. That person could be a friend, family member, neighbor, or even you. In order to maintain a safe and healthy blood supply for patients in hospitals across the state, Indiana Blood Center needs to see 550 donors every single day. Unfortunately, when the weather gets cooler, donations usually decrease, even though the need does not. That's why the Colts are once again partnering with the Indiana Blood Center to encourage our fans to raise their sleeves and give the gift of life to those in need. I encourage you to make an appointment to donate blood at your nearest donor center or mobile blood drive. To schedule your appointment, visit versity.org/IndianaBlood. That's VERSITI.org/IndianaBlood. On behalf of the entire Indianapolis Colts organization, I thank you for saving lives in our communities.
If your house could talk.
Everyone knows a strong foundation is imperative. My foundation was strong, but the stress weighed on me, and I cracked. A lot.
Is your house trying to tell you something? Cracked and bowed walls can be signs of foundation problems. Visit Indiana Foundation Service at indianafoundation.com for a free inspection and take advantage of no payments and no interest until 2020. Some restrictions apply.
Indiana Foundation Service. Reliability from the ground up.
Do you need furnace or heat pump service and need to find a local well-trained expert you can trust like Kirby Heating and Air Conditioning? We'll find that American Standard dealer at IndyHomeComfort.com.
Saving for a home can be tough. This is Rob Evans of INHP. Our proven programs help clients save for successful home ownership. Find out how we do it at INHP.org.
The Pacers enter the holiday season capable of beating any team in the league.
The Pacers are going to win this one.
Battling through injuries hasn't stopped them, and their confidence is only growing. Now the Blue and Gold enter the crucial part of the season where they can have great success chasing down the best teams in the Eastern Conference. Next up, it's the final game of 2018 against Atlanta. Today at 2:30 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. Your home for Pacers basketball.
The Houston Texans have won it in overtime.
Round 1 was an overtime loss at home. We took round 2 at their house.
And the Colts are going to win the football game.
Now we're heading back to Houston.
The Colts are going to the playoffs.
For a win or go home, round 3. The Colts begin their run through the playoffs with an AFC South showdown with the Texans Saturday. Colts NFL playoff coverage starts at 1:30. Kickoff with Matt Taylor at 4:35. Listen to every play of every Colts game on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan. This is Indy Sports Center.
WFNI, WIBC, HD2.
W298BB, W228CX, Indianapolis.
Hey, it's JMV. Pacers play today at 3, but I'm locked and loaded with great Titans Colts content for you on Facebook Live and on Twitter. I'll catch you today.
Dan Dakich, weekdays noon till 3 on FM 107.5 and 1070 The Fan.
That's right. That's right. It's a homer playoff day. Only a half hour left of the show. Pacers take on the Hawks at 2:30's pregame, so 3 o'clock's a game. For those of you that don't know, it is Indianapolis at Houston, ESPN and ABC. So we'll get Jason Witten and the fellas from Monday Night Football. I don't care who it is. I like Tess. Tess is fine. They're all fine. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. What I want to do is I want to sit on my fat ass at 4:30 on Saturday, and I want to watch the Colts. That's all I want to do. I don't care. All right, let's go. We got phones to get to. Let's go top to bottom. We're first going to go Rob. Let's go Rob, the second caller. Rob, what do you got?
Hey, Dan. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Hey, Merry New Year to you.
Thank you.
And
you too.
hope you had a happy Christmas and all that good stuff.
Thank you.
But first of all, hey, when I was in New York when the draft was going on, and I was in this little bar, a little pub thing, and all the people were in there talking about them taking Leonard. And they're like, oh, they could have got him in the 4th, maybe 5th round, late 3rd, early 4th. And I'm thinking, man, I'll tell you what, with what Ballard's doing, you got to believe in the guy. I'm just glad we got him.
Let me tell you something. No, let me tell you something. Who ranks the rankers? I say that all the time about guys that judge, right? I mean, guys are I heard, oh, golly, who was it? Somebody nationally was talking, maybe it was on this show actually, was talking about how much they loved Darius Leonard coming out of college. I don't think Darius Leonard would have been there any longer. I think Chris Ballard did exactly what the hell he should have done, which is draft Quentin Nelson, change the line, and then he drafted the best defensive kid in the draft, got him, and away you go, Rob. Appreciate it. Thank you.
Well,
Vern, yes, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. We lost you. Vern, how are you?
I don't think I've ever been so happy.
Yeah, right?
Yeah,
it's
man.
awesome.
Because I am a homer.
Yeah.
I am a homer of all homers, baby.
Yeah.
This is great, man. I look, and I'm just about as happy to go watch the Pacers today.
Yes.
They are killing it. Thad Young for president, man.
Thad Young.
This dude.
Hey, you and I need to get Thad Young on the All-Star team. Let's go.
He's supposed to be there. I mean, he's playing basketball the way you're supposed to play basketball, like none I've ever seen lately anyway. And we got everybody on the Pacers is doing their job. Collison is going unnoticed, but he's playing really good lately.
He's playing much better.
Yeah, it's just they're coming together, man. I'm loving my Pacers, but the Colts are on it. I tell you, it's the two best things you can have in Indy right now. You can have Thaddeus Young on your basketball team and a healthy Andrew Luck, and then you just win double digits. That's what happens.
See, people are starting. Don't you? A year ago, we had Thaddeus Young's all right, but man, is that guy? It was all about Victor Oladipo, but he gets hurt, and what happens? You mentioned Collison. Collison's starting to play his brains out, and Thaddeus Young. Vern, I got him on the All-Star team. I'm sorry, but I just do.
He should be on the All-Star team. Oh. And people were looking at it as what kind of – he's a basketball player.
Right.
All the way through, man.
Right.
And that's what you want.
Appreciate you.
I'll
Thanks,
take 5 of him and beat your team. All right.
Appreciate it, buddy. Goodbye. Happy New Year to everybody out there. Let's go to Frank. Frank, what do you got?
Yeah, Dan, with the Colts' success in the 8 head coach opening,
you think they're going to be in danger of possibly losing a coordinator?
Interesting you say that, because there is a report out there. There's two reports coming out of Cleveland. One is that Matt Eberflus is being considered to be interviewed by the Cleveland Browns. Now, the other report out of Cleveland was interesting. The other report out of Cleveland, Frank, was that the Cleveland Browns are settling on Mike McCarthy. They want Mike McCarthy to come coach their team. So I don't know the answer to that. I would say, if I were going to bet, I would say, you know what? Eberflus would be a guy I would take a look at, particularly in Cleveland, where you have the guy Kitchens is considered the guy who has turned the offense around, and he's turned Baker Mayfield around, and you throw a defensive-minded guy like Eberflus in there as a head coach, and now you got something going. Appreciate you. What you got, Eric?
I want to switch to Big Ten hoops real quick. I love your Sunday night rankings during Big
thanks,
Ten.
yeah.
I appreciate it. It's one of the best things out there. Illinois plays at Indiana Thursday night. I'm an Illini fan. Illinois will probably lose by 20. We've only won about 4 games this year. How much longer do you give Brad Underwood at Illinois, given his current status?
Well, I give him another year for sure, because now remember this: they just re-upped Lovie Smith, so they're Whitman isn't exactly the most. He's a patient guy, and I think you got to give Brad another year. And I also think you got to see what the hell happens here. That loss the other day, though, to what was it, FAU with a couple starters out, was not good for Illinois, Eric. And it was not good for here. Obviously, it's bad to lose a game, but let me give you even deeper. It's bad when you're trying to build a program from the standpoint of this, from the standpoint of the current players in the program trusting that the head coach's way is going to work. Do you see what I'm saying with that, Eric? Like, you start a program or you take over a program, guys are recruited by others, you bring some of your guys in, I get all that, but moving a program forward is about trust between the players and the coach, and the coach's personality and the coach's style and the coach's ability to make in-games adjustment. All those things come into play, and when you lose games to teams that, quite frankly, you should never lose to, that you're paying to come in here to play, that erodes that particular thing. And two things happen with teams, Eric, and I'll let you go. You don't have to listen to all that, but two things happen with teams. One, they get through it and they get better, or two, doubt creeps in and they end up with a miserable year, and we'll see which way Illini are going to go, but I got to believe they'll give at least another year. Don, how are you? Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me on. How do you keep the team going? I mean, aren't they satisfied that they made the playoffs?
Yeah, they are. I think everybody feels that way, right?
Right.
Thanks, buddy. Bye-bye. What the hell is that call? Yes, they're satisfied. Yes, they sure seem satisfied. Yes, they're satisfied. How do you keep the team going? You know what you do? You show up at work the next day, you're a damn pro. Don't buzzkill me on New Year's Eve when I'm probably going to go see Vice tonight because I like Dick Cheney. And I'm going to probably be asleep by 10 because I'm feeling like hell. Don't buzzkill me. I want to see the Dick Cheney story. My mom told me that it's no good, that Dick Cheney's a bad guy. And I say, good. I like bad guys. This is a homer. Let's be honest. There is absolutely no way that the Dick Cheney movie is going to be accurate, because nothing's ever accurate. I think the Pacers, a couple of you asked me, the Pacers minus 12.5 is too much. It's too much today. I don't like it. They'll end up winning probably and covering, but I don't like it. They just played the team. If you're in the NBA, you got to have a little bit of pride. I don't like it. What do you got, Michael?
Now, I want to know if you got a satchel on you, Dan. You're talking about not feeling good. But it's New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
Then go out and try them 60 beers.
I'm 56 years old. I got to think about this. I'm 56 years old. Hangovers hurt, Michael. Do you understand what I'm saying now? When I was young, all a hangover meant was, let's have another beer and get going. But, Michael, hangovers frickin' hurt. Do you understand what I'm saying?
That's why they make Excedrin and Gatorade. You pound that the next day, you don't have those hangovers.
Damn it.
Throw a satchel,
Damn
Dan.
it. Am I satchel free? Am I not sacking up on New Year's Eve?
I don't think so.
Damn it!
You're ready to loan Lee. You're ready to loan the pretty Lee Ross out. You can't do that.
No, I
Sack
can't.
up.
No, you're right. I got to sack up tonight. 107 beer, 120 beers. We're going 2 beers each at what's it called? There you go. Thank you for that phone call. Honest to God. Hey Dan, if you go out tonight, please take the advice from the great Dan Dockett. Avoid arrest. That's true. I don't know if I got Satchel just to make it into work today. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm hurting. Could have literally slept all day. You know, every those days you wake up, you're sore, you feel like ass. Well, that was me today. That was me today, and I ain't mad about it. I'll tell you right now. Usually I am first team all Satchel, so I will be out tonight. If you see me out partying, there you go. Throwing it up. Hands. Indiana University starts the new year ranked 21st in the AP poll. Steve Alford's been fired. Don't at me, Indiana fans. At me when you win something, and then you can say, oh, Archie was the greatest. But as we sit here right now, stop it. Stop it. Don't at me about that. Hey, Dan, I'm celebrating the Colts and New Year's Eve. Been throwing them back since 11. Well, Brandon, then call in. We want to make sure that we hear from the drunk folks. Call in. If you're hammered, call in. If you've been after it, it's a perfect day to get after it because it's raining. That's how we roll today. If you're drunk, call in. If you're sober, call in. I don't want to work today. I want you guys to do the talking today. I think Mike and Joe were on earlier. Obviously, John's not going to be on because we've got the Pacers coming up at 2:30 is the pregame. 3 o'clock is the game. Pacers 12.5-point favorite. Venturi was on. I do not like Virginia. I do not like Cincinnati in this game. I told my brother that, and nobody wants to listen to me. I don't like Cincinnati in this one. I don't like him at all. Just saying. Just saying. So there you go. All right, let's go back to the Colts real quick. Obviously, there's a lot of reasons the Colts are in the position that they're in. The number one reason I believe the Colts are in the position they're in because of the symmetry between Frank Reich, his coaching staff, and Ballard. Now, don't disregard what happened earlier in the year. And don't even, I know it's going to be hip and I know it's going to be cool. And I know everybody wants to talk about what a bad guy, what a ridiculous guy Josh McDaniels is. And he did everybody a favor. No, the favor Josh McDaniels did for the Colts was hire 2 great coordinators. That's the favor. And if you if you think differently, then God bless you. But Jimmy Irsay and the rest of the Colts, including Frank Reich, were smart to keep the 2 coordinators. And in keeping the 2 coordinators, you got guys that understood both sides of the football very, very well. And then you had Ballard, who put in the right guys, including Leonard, including Autry, including Marcus Hunt. And then you got a coaching staff that has coached them up. That's the symmetry here. So, I know what, McDaniels did us a hell of a favor. Look at this. He's at the 30, the 25, the 20, pushed out of bounds. I'm telling you, Virginia Tech's going to win this game. Mike, what do you got?
What's going on, Coach?
You big time.
I think Ballard deserves Executive of the Year.
I agree with you. I totally agree with you.
I love Nelson at the 6th pick. I always have because we needed an anchor on the old line. And I love him because he's the old school roughneck that wants to pound you. And if you notice, the best thing about him that I love, at end of each play, no matter who it is, he's over there helping him get up.
He is. And you know what? That's really good.
I mean, that's a leader. He don't have to be vocal, but stuff like that is a leader by example.
I'm with you on that. And you know what Ballard told me today? Appreciate your phone call. We were texting earlier. And you know what he said? He said, look, people laughed at the Nelson pick, and they did. I mean, right, the guy, Andy Benoit, whatever the hell Andy Benoit is, who ranks the rankers. But anyway, Andy Benoit, the Colts got a D in the draft, and this is Ballard's, what he said to me. When you get a generational talent that is rare football character, just take them. When your best players are your best teammates, it makes life easier on the coach. It does. And guys just now in this market are just figuring that out. And it's interesting to me because we've been talking about that forever. We really have. It's an interesting dynamic headed. It really is. It's an interesting dynamic, what is happening with the Colts and the Pacers. I think the Pacers are the same thing. We've talked about Kevin Pritchard. Look, we've talked about Kevin Pritchard and his ability to not only evaluate talent, but to fit talent in. Now, are there mistakes along the way? Sure there are. But let's also discuss the mistake. TJ Leaf, a lot of you are saying, well, TJ Leaf isn't playing. Well, you know what? He seems to be a perfect fit on the roster. And I don't know whether TJ Leaf's going to be any good or not. I have no idea, but I do know this. Certainly isn't a pain in the ass. I mean, certainly isn't a detriment. Certainly isn't somebody that, I don't know, is causing any issues even though he's not playing. 2 o'clock Friday, we're going to have the Big Cat on from Barstool Sports. All right, so let's see if Kevin Bowen doesn't mind going like at 1:30 again. That was pretty good. Again, the symmetry between – and then Venturi and I were just talking about this, and I think this is so important. I said, and I'll continue to say this, and I don't care who doesn't believe me. I don't care. But the worst thing that ever happened to Ryan Grigson was being hooked to Chuck Pagano and his insane, ridiculous coaching. And you're seeing now what good coaching can do. And Venturi has said it, and I'll continue to say it. Look, coaching matters in the NFL. We're not outcoached at any time. There has been, and this has been my thing all day, there has been never a time, not one time, have you seen a dumbass move by Frank Reich? You can say it was a dumbass move in the first game against the Texans, but you're wrong. He understood his locker room and what was needed. I'm just telling you he did. Believe it, don't believe it, on you. But I'm just telling you. That is a fact, Jack. And that trust, that ability to understand his locker room is why Frank Reich should be coach of the year. It's just the way it is. Frank Reich, a lot of guys have done a good job. The NFL has done a really good job this year with their coaches. I mean, look, Andy Reid does what Andy Reid does. He usually wins a bunch in the regular season. Everybody talks about the greatness of Andy Reid, and the next thing you know, they fizzle out. We'll see if they do. McVay's the hot guy. Everybody wants the next Sean McVay. I don't know. We'll see. They've had a great year. But as we sit here, 8 coaches are out. Dirk Cutter out. Todd Bowles out. Vance Joseph out. Marvin Lewis out. Adam Gase out. Steve Wilkes out. That's 6. That's on top of the Browns already out. And then who was the other one that was already out? McCarthy, Green Bay out. There's 8 guys out. And don't at me about diversity. If you can't ask for special treatment and try to be treated similar. Black, white, I don't give a crap. Basically, the white guys had better winning percentages than the black guys if you're going that way, so just stop it. Hey, Dan, you going to the Pacer game? I'll have a beer or 7 for you. Tyler, I am not. But I am going to go take my fat ass home and watch it. That I can guarantee you. All right, Bob, what do you got? Welcome to the show. It's Homer Day.
How's it going, Dan?
Good, buddy.
Okay, just want to talk to you about some stats on Colts between last year and this year.
Yeah.
This third quarter defense come out ranked 27th last year, 5.9. This year ranked 16th, 5.0.
Nice.
Fourth quarter ranked 30th last, 8.1. This year ranked 8th, 5.2.
Nice.
Scoring, third quarter, 2017, ranked 18th, 4.1. This year ranked 12th, 5.4. Fourth quarter, last year ranked 32nd, 2.9. This year ranked 5th, 7.8.
Let me remember last year they took the lead into the fourth quarter 8 times or something like that. Only the 2 Super Bowl participants had done it as many times. Let me give you the step. I'll let you go. It's a little loud behind you. Appreciate you calling in. Let me give you a couple other stats. Points allowed, 27.1. You know what that is in the NFL? It's 5th. Passing yards, 6th. Yards total, 7th. That's pretty damn good. Jeff Eberflus, potential candidate. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm a little worried about it. I think he would be really good in Cleveland with their defense that they have. I mean, he potentially could do a lot of damage with them. So it's a little scary for me because he's doing good with us with guys that aren't big names. So it could be dangerous with the Browns.
You know what I like about – I agree with you because they do have a bunch of guys. Appreciate you. You know what I like about Eberflus, and this is something I've talked about for 3 years, last 3 years with Pagano, guys are getting better. Guys are getting better. That is huge. You know what I mean? And that, to me, is massive. Brandon, what do you got?
Quick game plan for Houston. Let's tape up Glowinski's hands, maybe like what we did with Mathis or Freeney whenever they played with that club. Get rid of those holding penalties.
Yes.
Just do the same thing we did the last 4 games, and I feel good.
Yeah, to get the ball to T.Y. Hilton, too, because apparently he against that Joseph kid isn't a very good matchup for Houston.
Man, if he can walk, I suppose.
He's limping a little bit. You know what, though? He's got, I don't know, a couple days.
Let's give him credit, though.
Yes.
I mean, what a trooper. He was drawing double teams, clogging up the zones. He didn't even need to touch the ball. He knew that, and he changed the game.
Brandon, let me ask you a question. This year to last year, T.Y. Hilton, what are your thoughts?
Man, I thought last year he was gonna want to walk out on us and quit on the team, and this year I'm like, let's do everything we can to keep him.
Yeah, I mean, last year I thought he was a follower, a bad influence. This year I think he's a leader, and if you're not paying attention, well, he's a leader if you're paying attention. If you're not paying attention, that's on you because that guy is showing it. He really is. Appreciate your phone call. Happy New Year to you. Thanks for calling in. It's a homer day, people. It's a freaking homer day. And it should be a homer. I'm a homer. I'm big-time homer. I was a little bit surprised. I was. I'm not going to lie. I was a little bit surprised that Houston took care of Jacksonville that quickly, that easily. I really felt like, I don't know, I kind of felt like Houston, or a lot of times guys that are punk-ass teams, which is what I think Jacksonville was this year, they play in the dumb situations. Like they can't handle playing in the hard situations, so they play in kind of the silly situations, if that makes any sense. And I thought they might play in that game, but they didn't even try. They seriously did not even try. They didn't even give you nothing. Josh, you want to talk about T.Y. Hilton? I'm trying to get as many calls in here as we can. What you got?
Yes, I think you're growing up a lot and getting away from Dante Moncrief is good for him.
Interesting.
Because he came with the book bag last year talking about T.Y.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Josh. Do we even see that T.Y. thing?
We've seen it a couple times this year, but.
All right. Appreciate you, man. Thank you. In fact, as you say that, I get a text from Jordan, or a tweet from Jordan Lake says, do you think the subtraction of Moncrief has helped T.Y. Hilton? That's interesting. 2 in a row. It's kind of cool. Yeah, I kind of do. Look, I don't know what it's been. I think that the addition of a serious coaching staff, and I don't think last year's coaching staff was serious. I don't. I'm sorry. I just didn't. And I said it at the time, and I'll say it now. I think anytime you make mistakes, or anytime you make excuses, and anytime you run out Bolshevik answers and cliches, I don't think you're a serious coaching staff. Dave, what do you got?
Hey, Double D. Hey, I just wanted to ask a particular question about when we were we had the team tour when we went 1-5. How do you think our team would do right now, knowing that the team that we have, we would win those games, or what would your outlook be on those games?
Oh, I think if you look back, if those things go the way they would, I think you'd be in great shape. I mean, look, let's be honest. Other than one dog game for whatever the reason against Jacksonville, I mean that this team's played incredible, and I don't think there's any way you would feel anything other than very, very good, about playing any of those teams, whether it was the Bengals or it was the Jets or whomever. We said it earlier, the schedule was going to be easy. It was. They just lost to some bad teams. Appreciate the phone call, and Happy New Year to you. Thank you. I mean, they just lost to some bad teams. And I don't think I think you have to be a really good team playing well to beat the Colts right now. And that's all you want at this time of year. I'm not saying the Colts are going to run the table and go through and be Super Bowl champs. But what I am saying is you're going to have to play very well and be a very good team to beat the Colts. Now, I do believe that. Like, I don't think the Colts are going to be – I'll tell you what, the one thing that I will say, though, the Colts tried yesterday to beat themselves a little bit. Matt, we got to squeeze this in. What you got?
I said last week that they would beat they'd win this week and then they'd win at Houston. Those are just teams with bad offenses, and I think that'll continue. I think our first real test come when we see a quarterback ranked in the top 15.
Well, it was interesting. I don't know if you heard us earlier with Rick Venturi. Appreciate your phone call, but he was talking about that. We haven't seen very good quarterbacks. Now you do. Deshaun Watson's a good quarterback. I mean, you can not like him, think he's in the division, think he runs too much, gets hit too much. I don't know. But Deshaun Watson's a damn good quarterback. And you're going to see a damn good quarterback, and you're playing against a team at their place again, second time in a few weeks. That's not easy. A well-coached team by all accounts. Athletic team. I mean, all you got to do is look defensively between Merciless, Clowney, and J.J. Watt. You've got guys in there that can make plays today, tomorrow, and the next freaking day. I mean, let's just, So I think that this is a hell of a test coming up on Saturday. And I don't think you get into playoffs and all of a sudden you don't have a hell of a test. I don't. I think you've got a hell of a test. And I think it's going to be so much fun. I do. I think it's going to be so much fun to watch. And it's going to be so much fun to talk about all week in all three shows. That's why you go local here, man. That's why 1070 is off the chain, yo. Because at the end of the day, we're sitting here with three shows, going to break it down for you. Going to break it down for you today. Mike and Joe were on. We were on with Fish. We were on with Venturi till 2:30. We're going to have to leave you in a few minutes here and go to the Pacers-Hawks pregame show. But all week starting today, we're going to have it for you. Kyle had no idea what he signed up for. He just thought you come in here and you're a producer. How much more time we got, Kyle? We got to go? We got one more minute, so I want to thank everybody, and I also want to make sure I say to everybody, Happy New Year. And once again, we just concluded over our 10th year, and I want to say Happy New Year to everybody. I want to say thank you for listening. I want to say that I hope everybody is safe tonight. Let's be smart tonight. Let's not have any arrests. Let's not have any problems tonight. If the Uber and there's all kind of Lyft. There's all kind of taxis available. So have a great night. But as always, avoid arrests. And again, I can't thank you enough for listening to our show, for taking time out of your day to listen to our show, to call in, to text, to tweet, to argue, to fight. Thanks a lot.
Sports Center updates on the Fan are brought to you by Big O Tires. Winter weather's upon us. Important to have your tires and brakes checked at Big O Tires. Have a full safety system check. Be safe with Big O Tires.
America's favorite auto show is back. The Indy Auto Show, going on now. Buy your tickets now at IndyAutoShow.com.
And with admission just $7 and kids under 12 free with paid adult, the Indy